Tyler Pinkley was trying to light a mortar while holding it right above his head. His friends told him not to, but Pinkley refused to listen and dismissed them and said he's done this before. Deputies say Pinkley then died at the scene. Jake McDaniel, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
$3.10 a gallon is the statewide average for gas today, says Gas Buddy. That is a 13-cent drop from this time last week. In IndyCar, there was drama at the end of racing at Mid-Ohio Sunday.
And there is an issue for Alex Palou, and Scott Dixon has worked his way around Alex Palou with 5 laps to go.
Oh, he just got sideways, got really sideways going into turn 9.
The call with Mark Janes and Davey Hamilton on the IMS radio network, and that mistake cost Alex Palou his 7th win of the season. His teammate Scott Dixon takes the victory. It is his 59th career win in IndyCar and the 21st season in a row that he's won at least one race. The Sync 275 in Iowa is this upcoming weekend. And with a look at traffic now, here's Matt Baer.
South side, northbound 65, slow after South Keystone Avenue to the south split because of construction. Eastbound 70 has reopened at Holt Road from an earlier fatal crash. Traffic is cleared out as well. Traffic sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with nationwide LTE coverage for a limited time. Get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code RADIO for an extra 5% off. I'm Matt Baer with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Partly cloudy, scattered showers and thunderstorms today. Not as hot, but still muggy, a high of 83. Rain clears this evening, clear overnight, muggy, a low of 69. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
And I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. 9:06, time for Kendall and Casey.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Oh, do we have some scores to settle today, baby? It's Monday. We've had a weekend of fighting with clowns on the internet. Let's go! Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Our old pal, Jerry Lopez. Find him on Twitter at Indy Spanglish. In for Casey. Jerry, you and I have been corresponding throughout the week, and I am so excited for today's show. We're going to name so many names. We're going to expose so many people. We are going to bring the pain today on this radio program.
Hey, I've been looking forward to this Monday since Friday on Facebook, Rob. So this one's going to be a banger. It's going to be a banger.
It's going to be a good time. Buckle up. All right, before we do that, though, the lead story in the city once again, and this seems to happen almost any time there is some sort of marquee event or high traffic event in the greater downtown area in which we cannot make it out of that event or that news cycle without large-scale violence in the city of Indianapolis, the downtown area. And once again, it happens this time on the 4th of July, shortly after people are law-abiding citizens, people bringing their families downtown, celebrating the 4th of July, the nation's independence. And here we go, mass shooting, 2 dead, several injured.
Yeah, I think we need to be honest with ourselves and stop comparing ourselves to Chicago, because Indianapolis is not all that great. I mean, when you wake up and it's like, is this Fallujah or is this downtown Indianapolis? And it's every single weekend, and we're talking about kids that are involved in this stuff.
Okay, so Ryan Hedrick from the WIBC Newsroom, who covered this stuff throughout the weekend, and Jarrett Lewis as well, and Jeanette was in on it too. So the WIBC Newsroom was working hard over the weekend. He posted this. What would this? This would have been, let's see, this would have been Sunday morning. Within 27 hours, there were 15 people shot. So basically, late Friday to early Sunday morning, so a 27-hour period, you had 15 people shot. Friday night, you had the mass shooting in downtown. And then Saturday, it's just as bad. 7 people shot. You've got 1 killed, multiple double shootings. It's rinse and repeat. And how many times does this have to happen before we say, okay, all the factors at play, none of them are actually being addressed adequately for why gun violence remains out of control in the city of Indianapolis?
Well, I don't think you can legislate just being a decent person, right? And that's the issue. Whether it's kids that have had kids and now those kids are young adults and people just don't know how to parent, or people just letting their kids run around the city, or kids that just don't appreciate life. Something's going wrong, and I don't think IMPD can fix that issue.
Okay, so Chris Bailey, the chief of police, came out early Saturday morning after the mass violence downtown on Friday with the 4th of July. And actually, he said exactly that the police are here. The police were there at the time. They're putting mass amounts of resources into this, and it simply doesn't matter. It rests with the parenting.
Any questions?
Is it going to take other city departments to step up?
Because see, we keep going back to what's the government going to do? What's the city going to do? The city's invested in this. Millions of dollars the city, taxpayers pay for police overtime to staff this 1 square mile area with, there was a couple hundred cops down here between state police and Capitol Police and IMPD and other police department agencies. Yes, we're going to keep doing our job. The city of Indianapolis, government, the police department is going to continue to do our job. We're not going to solve this. Not just by the police. We made 20 arrests tonight.
Yeah, the criminals don't care.
What are you supposed to do? And Ryan Mears is going to let him out again. So what does it matter?
Yeah, so he was pinning it, he being Chris Bailey, chief of police, was pinning it on like the parents and the parenting, which is a huge part of the equation. Absolutely, no doubt. It is ridiculous. We'll get to this here in a second because Drinky McGee then had a press conference the next day. And apparently, even though we had a curfew in place, see, this is sort of the same thing with the immigration stuff where we don't need new laws. We just need the laws enforced.
Right.
There was a curfew in place. They just stopped enforcing it.
And I remember, I think I was here the day they were talking about how they were going to do the curfew and they were going to have paddy wagons, pick up kids and get your kids. And now they're like, we're going to enforce it. You're going to do it now that we've lost more lives, more shootings. And we wonder why the businesses are leaving downtown, Rob.
So we'll play Drinky McGee here in his audio in a second on this curfew, but it really comes back to the couple things. Yes, the parenting, absolutely. There's zero reason for your kid at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock,
15-year-old,
running around downtown Indianapolis. No. There's never any reason for that to be happening. However, it's also that Joe Hogsett, very early on in his administration, declared Indianapolis to the violent offenders open for business. And you think about even in the pre-COVID stuff. Now, I mean, that was the last straw, right? I mean, when when Thomas Carl Cook and the Good Time Fun Gang that was running the city, because nobody still knows where the mayor was. No one knows what the mayor was during the riots, and yet, other than a handful of reporters, no one's ever asked him about it. That's amazing to me. And yet, even before that, though, when you think about things like the Aaron Bailey shooting, where not only are the police cleared by the special prosecutor, but by the merit board, and then Hogsett comes out in the response to that. This is pre-COVID, pre-riots, pre-all this stuff. Condemns the merit board. The message that sends, and he did this sort of stuff over and over and over again to the criminals, is we're on your side. Open for business. If you come here, we're going to be sympathetic to you. If you come here, there's a good chance you're going to get away with it. And then you couple that with, like you said, Ryan Mears, who apparently has very little desire to see these people stay behind bars. How many times have we heard about somebody getting out, somebody on an ankle monitor, somebody with a record of violence doing something again, and then the axis of evil, right? Like the triangle of terror.
Right.
They got the judicial system as well, and between the mayor and the prosecutor and the judicial system, and then on top of all of it, where it all sort of begins, is the lack of parenting. You just have lawlessness
I mean, it's a perfect gumbo for a horrible situation, right? And listen, I don't know how you grew up. I grew up under a mom who was very quick to corporal punishment. I mean, we were
came over on a boat.
We were a catch these hands household, right? And I will tell you that much. After a certain time, I just didn't want, I feared the punishment. And that's what we're missing in this city. There is no fear of the repercussion. There is the catch and release that we have here. We have people that shouldn't have been out who come out and commit more murders. Nobody's afraid of anything. The only people that are afraid here are law-abiding citizens.
Yeah.
And they wanted to take your guns away.
And there's still people, and I saw this weekend, who will defend this stuff and be like, you're fear-mongering.
Right.
This isn't right.
The problem's guns, Rob. No, the problem's a 15-year-old with an AK. That's the problem.
I loved Jesse Brown, and he's...
Send a counselor.
He's harmless in terms of
So what do we do, Rob?
Local goof harmless, but they're trying to... Well, I marched with a bunch of 14-year-olds, and we felt totally... Yes, in the middle of the day.
Have you ever been to Beale Street in Memphis?
You didn't go at 1 a.m.?
Beale Street in Memphis shuts it down and has metal detectors on the street. Is that where we're headed to?
They need something. I mean, at this point...
just make it a no-gun zone, and I hate to say it.
Well, I mean, look,
right? That sounds weird, but do you set up metal detectors around a whole perimeter and just have cops everywhere here to make it so that you can at least come downtown and not hear gunshots ringing?
Before we ponder that, here is our mayor in a surprising moment of...
sobriety?
You said it, not me! Talking about how they're going to start enforcing the curfew that was already in place that they didn't enforce, and thus the kids were allowed to be out shooting people.
And we will continue to keep working each and every day to identify ways in which we can keep our young people safe. It was in that spirit. Just last summer, we announced that IMPD would once again be enforcing the curfew on our youth. This year, since we have prioritized education over enforcement, trying to ensure every parent and guardian takes responsibility for their children in the overnight hours. But it is clear we must do more. So over the coming days, my office, along with IMPD, OPHS, and our community partners, will be taking steps to begin active enforcement of that curfew for our young people in our city's downtown.
So, you had a curfew. It's not like violence just got better. It's not like we went back to where we were in the early 2010s where we're under 100 homicides. Okay, well, everybody go back. Why did you stop enforcing it?
It's not like it was work. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? This is why they brought out the curfew. They brought it back because of a situation like this. And then it just went away and the situation came back.
There is zero reason after 10 o'clock at night for your underage kid to be running around downtown Indianapolis.
At all. Listen, how about your 19-year-old kid? I'm a grown man. I'm not coming downtown Indianapolis at a certain hour.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break. When we come back, Elon Musk is starting a third party. Now, I've been around this game long enough to not get excited about announcements, but something's got to be done. And I support anything to start punishing these Republicans for the lying, the pathological lying. So we'll discuss whether this is a good idea or not. Jerry's in for Casey, 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Now, the idea of Uber goes against everything we were taught as kids, though.
What's that?
Never get into a car with a stranger.
But there's betting.
Now we pay for it. We're literally paying the stranger to take us somewhere.
But at least there's some sort of vetting. You know the name of the person that's coming.
So you'll know your kidnapper. It's like having an alarm on your car. Great, I can hear it being stolen.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. You can say goodbye to cracked, stained, and dirty old floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out the color. Upgrade your home today by calling Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. And they come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. The phone number, 877-417-0635. You can find them online, too. GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com.
Indiana summer storms are rolling in, and if you're like me, you're not climbing up on your roof to check for damage. That's why you call Moss Roofing. Family-owned, Right here in central Indiana for over 30 years, Moss Roofing gives you something hard to find these days: honest work and peace of mind. They offer free inspections, and I mean a real thorough checkup of your roof, your siding, your gutters, and your windows. If there's storm damage, they'll show you the photos, explain everything clearly and thoroughly, and even work with your insurance company for you. No stress, no pressure, just real professionals doing the job right every single time. Protect your home and avoid bigger problems later. Call Moss Roofing today, 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 317-747-3665. Family owned, Moss Roofing, 747-3665, or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
History returns with the Brickyard 400 at the famed 2.5-mile oval, celebrating NASCAR's roots at the racing capital of the world. Brickyard Weekend starts Thursday, July 24th with the Indiana Sprint Week race, with sprint cars running on the IMS dirt track for the first time ever. Saturday, July 26th, get ready for action with the NASCAR Xfinity Series Pennzoil 250. Then Sunday, July 27th, the NASCAR Cup Series Brickyard 400, presented by PPG, returns to the oval of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Buy now and save at IMS.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
So, Elon Musk has had enough, and he says he's starting a third party. I don't get excited about things anymore, but I'm interested about this because I think he's got some money to do some damage. Let's talk about it. Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Jerry Lopez in for Casey today. You can find him on Twitter at Indy Spanglish. All right. I'm team Elon Musk all the way on this because in this Trump-Elon feud, and here's why. Because no one held a gun to Trump or any of these Republicans' head and forced them to take Elon's money or his support. And Elon was very clear in what he wanted as a part of his support. There's nothing he needs. There's nothing he wants financially. He's the richest man in the world. What he wanted was them to get the spending and the out-of-control government waste to stop it. That's what he wanted. That was the whole premise of him running. We're $37 trillion in debt. We are saddling future generations who don't have a voice in the process with debt they'll never be able to pay. We're 5-6 generations deep now in terms of the dining and dashing that's taking place. And as a part of his support, he was very clear what he expected the Republicans to do. And so if you're going to, and boy, howdy, does this hit home. If you're going to take someone...
It's real close to home for you.
Yeah, boy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you are Elon of WIBC.
This happens all the time where these Republicans take somebody's support who's very clear about what they expect, who is very out there about what, like, if I support you, this is what I expect you to do. And then they get in there, and then they don't do the thing, and then they try to turn the guy who is being consistent, the one person who's being honest, the one person who's standing by what they said, they try to turn him into some sort of public enemy number one. And what's happened to Elon on a much broader scale is exactly what happened to me, where Braun and Micah, no one held a gun to their head and made them take my support. They wanted it. Why? Because we brought a lot of people with us.
Yeah, well, in the words of Morgan Wallen, if I'm the problem, you might be the reason, right? Like, I see what you're saying, but I have to disagree. So, Elon, yeah, you asked for a lot, but I mean, for the richest man in the world, you sure are getting a lot of government subsidies.
But didn't he say, take them away, I don't care?
Sure he did. That's easy to say after the fact, but we're already here. The other part of that is I am on Team America. But I think an American party is only going to cripple the Republican Party.
Great.
It's going to.
Why is that a problem?
Because now we're going to have. Well, we already have healthcare for illegals, but we're going to get everything. We're going to get the blue-haired freaks in there. We're going to have up to birth abortions and everything.
So okay, so
we need to elect better Republicans, Rob.
Let's work back off Elon Musk for a moment. Okay, let's just take me as an example.
All right.
Do I not have every right to be pissed off?
You do.
Okay.
But I would say you need to support better Republicans then.
Who?
I don't know. I don't know. That is the $1 million question.
The one guy was arguably my best friend
That's
for
fair.
4 years, and he lied right to my face.
Yeah.
What's the vetting process supposed to be?
I don't know. It needs to change.
Everybody always says, you got to support better Republicans. Who are these people, right? What Elon is going through is exactly what I feel.
Fair.
Which is all we did. We are the consistent people in the equation. We are the people who have not changed. We are the people who say, in my case, it was property tax reform.
And amplified both voices. Without Twitter, I don't know what happens in the conservative races. And without WIBC, where would Micah have been?
Well, Micah would not have been the lieutenant governor.
So
period.
both of you guys...
Braun probably still would have been the governor, certainly
Sure.
not with the vote margin he did. Micah would definitely not have been the
But
lieutenant
both of
governor.
you guys boosted it, and then once you got there, it's kind of like the spaceship. They let go of the rockets, and they don't need you anymore.
Okay, so this comes back to if...
It's not good.
If you cannot trust these people, any of them, you cannot trust any of these people, don't you have to make them feel pain?
Yeah, but
like I have maintained, because obviously look at how pathetically weak the people running against Diego Morales are right now. Jamie Rittenauer, David Shelton, they're horribly weak people, and they're not calling him out, and they're not doing anything. So if you accept he's going to cruise to the nomination, which he will, because outside of where you hear us, this stuff doesn't exist, because the other talk radio stations are just, yes, please, Republican people.
And he's going to all the Lincoln days. He's doing
Sure,
the rounds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for some reason, people like Jamie Rittenauer and David Shelton, just who have every opportunity to just roast this guy and draw media attention to it, don't want to do it. I maintain the best thing for the state would be if Bo Bai, Evan Bai's son, beats Diego Morales next year and teaches the Republicans a lesson. How else will people learn? They won't stop unless you stop them. And so the same thing here. If Elon Musk makes the Republicans feel some pain, okay, that's the way you want to play. I'm going to run targeted people, not to win.
Just to take your vote?
Just to make sure you lose. That's the way you want to play.
And then we have Kamala Harris as a president?
Hey, maybe then the Republicans will get it together. Why is it always? Okay, so let's play this audio of this is the Treasury Secretary basically trying to make Elon Musk out to be the bad guy in this equation. Listen to this.
Before I let you go, it's not a big secret that you had your differences with Elon Musk when he was working in the administration. He announced this weekend that he is starting a new political party. Does that worry the Trump administration?
Look, the principles of Doge were very popular. I think if you looked at the polling, Elon was not. So I believe that the boards of directors at his various companies wanted him to come back and run those companies, which he is better at than anyone. So I imagine that those board of directors did not like this announcement yesterday and will be encouraging him to focus on his business activities, not his political activities.
Nobody said focus on your business activities when you were giving us $1 gajillion or doing these campaigns or taking over Twitter and giving us our voice back. Now that we've gotten everything we want out of you, now that the turnip's been bled dry, you need to just go back to running your business. Oh, just like, Rob, you're pretty good at radio. You should be the one who investigate people. Let us go do the photo ops at the Subways and the Pizza Kings. You investigate all the people. I hope Elon Musk runs and funds to the tune of millions of dollars in all of these Senate races, people, and just make it clear. My goal is not to win. My goal is to make sure that you lose. That's the way you want to play? Welcome to the party, pal. You're messing with the wrong guy.
I don't even know where to start with that. Man, he has the money. He has the influence. The biggest loser of the whole thing has to be Elon. I mean, we had people, he took a stand and said, I support Trump. And then Teslas were being keyed and hit with Nazi signs and burned and protested and business went down. And now he's just like, they're like, all right, we don't need you anymore. But he's not going back to what he left.
All right, let's take a break. Jerry's in for Casey. When we come back, Trump signed the big bullcrap bill. And this This brought me to a lesson that I heard at church yesterday, which God is very good about giving you the information you need when you need it. And it's actually part of the sermon yesterday that I think totally applies to what we've been talking about because anytime, especially in our business, anytime you come out against anything Trump does, you just get a swarm of people. We hate you. We'll never listen to you again. You blah, 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 blah. And this message from church yesterday was really what I needed to hear. We'll talk about all of that next. Jerry's in for Casey, 93 WIBC.
It's summer in Indiana, and I'm betting the floors in your home are dirtier than the infield the day after the 500. I'm also guessing they probably appreciate a good cleaning. Hi, this is Denny Smith, and there is no better go-to resource for cleaning those floors than Zero-Res. They can handle virtually every surface in your home. Carpets, tile and grout, hardwood, laminate, stone, upholstery, rugs, and even your air ducts. Before we get any deeper into summer, you can get 3 rooms Zero-Resified and get 1 room free and $50 off air duct cleaning too. Zero-Res means zero residue, and it's in the water they use. The unique ZR water uses no soap, no harsh chemicals, and leaves no residue, just healthy, fresh surfaces. Zero-Res cleans our floors, and I'll tell you that it is simply amazing, and it works. But don't take my word for it. Just check out the 4,900 5-star Google reviews. Call now. Mention WIBC. When you get 3 rooms cleaned, you get 1 room for free and $50 off air duct cleaning. 317-388-5141 or ZeroResIndy.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text SAVVY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text SAVVY to 42424. That's SAVVY to 42424.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He thinks the answer might be right in front of them. Cloudy and 75 degrees in the Circle City. 83 is the high today, and some light rain is possible. I'm John Herrick. This report is brought to you by Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 9:31. 5 people shot from late Sunday night into this morning in Indianapolis. The 2 teenagers who died in Saturday's mass shooting in downtown Indy were identified a few minutes ago as Azarian Cole and Xavion Jackson. Cole was 15 years old. Jackson was 16. State Representative Andrew Ireland was asked by Wish TV's Tim Spears if he believes gun control can fix the violence problem.
No, I don't. I think the reality is, again, that we have a variety of laws on the books, but if you look at Ryan Mears' record as far as actually prosecuting and holding violent criminals with firearms accountable, it's abysmal.
He says the Indianapolis City County Council also has not been taking the violence problem seriously enough. The number of people who have died in flooding in Camp Mystic, Texas is now up to 27 campers and counselors. Emergency responders to continue to search for people through the riverbanks near Kerrville, which is northwest of San Antonio. Texas Governor Greg Abbott calls the flooding nothing short of horrific. Sound Health has received FDA approval for the first ever medical-grade Android app and wearable capable of transforming a selfie into treatment for rhinitis. The Sonu app scans the patient's face using a smartphone and creates a digital map of their sinuses. The patient then places the Sonu band around their head, turns it on, and the band delivers frequencies to open airways, making it easier to breathe. And your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. So far, rough start on Wall Street. The Dow is down 127 points to 44,700. The S&P 500 is down 23 points to 6,255. And the NASDAQ is trailing 102 points, 20,498. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years. and helps keep central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
A diagnosis of Alzheimer's can make it a struggle to communicate with loved ones. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. In a moment, I've got a tip which often helps that will be music to your ears. Don't go away.
Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Visit cardon.us to find a community near you.
A growing number of studies show the power of music's role in those living with Alzheimer's. The next time a loved one seems to be tuned out, gently place headphones on them or simply turn on one of their favorite songs. Watch their eyes light up, and don't be surprised if they sing along or start chatting about the tune. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
You were blessed to have a home large enough to raise a family. But now the kids have been on their own for a while, and the house seems a little different. All those rooms are a bit too much to manage. Simple just seems better. Simple Quarters is a company that understands, and they can help you trade in your house for one that's a better fit for this point in your life. A lot of folks don't realize you can trade in your house like you can trade in your car. Simple Quarters will buy your house and help you transition into a new one all at the same time. No double mortgages or months of showing and stress. They streamline the process. Or they'll simply buy your house as is, and you can take the next steps on your own. Simple Quarters is a Christian company committed to making your real estate transitions easier. If you're considering downsizing, Simple Quarters offers both as-is home purchases and a convenient home trade-in option. Call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME.
My job is to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And I believe that you are mature enough to handle that. People in our industry don't. Let's talk about it. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC. I'm Rob. Jerry Lopez is in for Casey today. You can find him on Twitter at Indy Spanglish. All right. So one of the reasons I think our show is very, very popular, when you look at, if you were to take every midday talk show in America and you were to what they call market share, like how much of the market, what the ratings are in your time slot, by market share, we are arguably the most listened to talk show in America in terms of the market we're in. Now, are we nationally syndicated? No, but in the market in which we emanate, what we do is basically unmatched by market share across the country. And part of the reason, it's very hard to make a midday talk show work. And the reason I think we've done this very well is I took the approach from the moment I got here that I was going to tell people what they needed to hear, not what they wanted to hear, because my obligation is to the truth far more than it ever was to be liked or accepted or whatever. You're a great example of this. You hated me the first time you heard me here on WIBC.
I've told you that to your face. Yeah, I said I did not like you at all. I thought you were bad for business because you're always bashing Republicans.
That's right. And my response to people who say that is the Republicans control everything in this state. They now run the country in terms of the federal government. Why would we talk about Democrats? Now, we do in the city of Indianapolis,
sure,
where they control. We opened our show today bashing Joe Hogshead, bashing Ryan Mears. But the Republicans run everything here.
Yep.
The Democrats don't have any say in anything, and it would be disingenuous to the audience in terms of if we're laying down the ills of our society, talking about things that have run astray in our society, in this case, our state, or the federal government, or the big bullcrap bill that we're about to talk about. The Republicans took all of that on their own. There is no Democrat involvement. No Democrats voted for it.
It's the same argument I give people from Chicago who blame Trump. And I go, Trump has nothing to do with your life, bub.
That's right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So first of all, so I took the approach the moment I got here, and it was very controversial at the time. And one of the things that has been encouraging to me is as this show has grown and went from being a weekend guy and a fill-in guy to having my own show to having these great ratings, is that clearly I think society is evolving. I think society is becoming more independent. I think society is catching on to that idea of, look, if the Republicans are in charge and things aren't going well, then we have no one to blame but the Republicans, and we should be talking about how the Republicans aren't doing their jobs. So before we get into this, because there was a very, very, very helpful message from church this weekend about just this thing, and I think God put it there at the right time for me, and I'm going to play you a little clip of that here in a moment. But here is Trump talking about signing the big bullcrap bill.
As we approach the 250th anniversary of America's founding exactly 1 year from now, we are creating an economy that delivers wealth for the middle class, a border that is sovereign and secure, and a military that is unmatched, unequaled anywhere in the world. And you saw that. And what a beautiful sight that was, especially after watching what they did just a short while ago. The golden age of America is upon us. We are in the golden age. It's going to be a period of time, the likes of which I don't think this country has ever experienced before. We're going to make America great again, and it's happening very fast.
Okay, it's easy to say when you're spending someone else's money.
That's fair.
When you have a never-ending credit card, and you know, and I don't mean to be crass by saying this, but by the time that bill comes due,
you're dead.
Donald Trump ain't going to be here.
Yeah,
right?
Our kids got to pay that bill.
Right, absolutely. I look at my 2-year-old daughter and think every day, I'm so sorry for what we're doing to you, because it will come to deficits are future taxes. People will have to pay this tab, and eventually it gets so incredibly large that it just topples over on itself. It's happened in every thriving society in the history of this world. What undid the Romans, right? It was the spending. It was they couldn't get it under control. Every thriving society has basically been undone largely by the same stuff, and we are doing it again right here. So I'm not going to lie to you. Look, if Trump had made a bunch of cuts to the government and funded the border, I'd be singing his praises all day because he paid his tab. He paid the bill as he walked out of the restaurant. But I'm not going to cheerlead some guy who's buying adulation by making little kids who haven't even been born yet pick up his tab.
You know what this reminds me of? We saved the taxpayers $150,000, and then I bought a $90,000 car.
Bingo, thank you. So you really didn't save anybody anything.
That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I heard this message at church, at the Eagle Creek campus for Life Church yesterday, and Pastor Mike delivered this message, and it was really profound. I thought it really hit home. And it's about the way we should be living our lives, which is that we have an obligation as good and decent people, as moral people, to tell our brothers and sisters what we do every day right here. Tell them what they need to hear. If you actually love people, you're willing to boldly look at them and speak the truth. I've talked about this before. My favorite figure in the Bible outside of God himself, Jesus and God, is John the Baptist, John the forerunner. Because John, unlike maybe any other character in the Bible, any other figure in the Bible, was willing to look at anyone and call out the hypocrisy. Even though it ultimately meant he walked into his own death. He walked into where he knew he was going to be beheaded, to call out the hypocrisy, to say what needed to be said. And part of the problem in our society now is we have gutless people. People would rather be liked. People would rather be accepted. People would rather go to parties. People would rather be in clubs or go to events than say what needs to be said. And we have to have more people that are willing to take the slings and the arrows and tell their brothers and sisters what's going on, even if it hurts them in the moment, to make them think and to make them act in a way that's going to be better for our society. Here's a little bit of this message. Man, it so resonated with me yesterday.
One of the principles there is talking about tough things. And when we don't talk about tough things, it actually creates problems. When we don't tell people the truth in love, we're not loving that person. And I don't know why sometimes we think not speaking the truth is the most loving thing we can do. that there is a way to speak the truth, but it's actually the opposite of loving, to withhold the truth. It's hard. It's hard to tell people some things sometimes, right? It's hard to be on the receiving end of things sometimes. But Proverbs says the wounds of a friend are faithful. Because a friend will tell you the truth, and Jesus tells the truth because of his great love for us. And we should do the same.
You need to hear about what's going on in your country. If you come to this place each day just wanting to hear that your vote should be affirmed, that everything the people you vote for is great, then you're in the wrong place, and I'm not going to do it because I love you too much. I love you too much as the audience. We've got too many years invested in each other. I have too much respect for you to simply say that it's okay that our government's going to continue to fund child sex changes, which we'll get to that later in the show. A little back and forth we had with a former elected official over the weekend about that. I love you too much to lie to you and act like our government is not going to continue to pay. You are going to continue to pay because you are funding the government for illegal immigrants to have health care that is free to them. I love you too much to act like our government is not picking winners and losers and screwing you in the process in this bill. If you want me to just tell you everything Trump does is great, I'm not going to do it. But I believe in you, and you've proven, you over and over again, the audience have proven, that you want the truth, that you're passionate not about team sport, you are passionate about what's right, and that is what we will continue to give to you because we love you. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the latest on those devastating floods in Texas, and President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu are set to meet. After the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
I've had my Window Nation windows installed for a couple of years now, and my air conditioner is no longer working overtime in the summer. These are the dog days of summer, but if your windows are old and drafty, time for some new Window Nation windows. Check it out. 50% off all window styles plus 0 interest for 5 whole years. All the details at windownation.com.
And when Window Nation comes out to your house, they are bringing the best of the best. A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, and their staff, years of experience. And look, when we have a heat wave like we had recently, I think you understand how important it is to have good windows that keep the blistering hot out and your perfect climate inside. 50% off all window styles. Any style at all, 0 interest until 2030. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Premier Deck Coating, the ultimate deck protection. Who are they? Well, they're a sister company of Rhino Shield, and Premier Deck Coating is the product you need if you're tired of applying the same old stain and paint every couple of years to your deck. It's Terry, Stacy, and David and I have a deck that's probably 25 years old. The countless hours and the money that we spend on maintaining that deck never ends. And then we heard about Premier Deck Coating. Family owned, based right here in Indy, and they are going to completely transform our deck with their special formulated product, which repels moisture, scratch resistant in virtually any color that we want, and backed by a 10-year guarantee. No more spending time staining or painting every year. Premier Deck Coating will keep our deck looking great for years to come. Premier Deck Coating can also do fences and pergolas too. For a free quote, call 317-696-4071 or visit premierdeckcoating.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Guys, Hammer and Nigel here. Don't live with tiredness and low energy. Get your life back with testosterone therapy at Low T Center. Take the test, get fast results, and start TRT with Indianapolis's leading experts in men's health.
Now it's easier than ever with the new Synergen X Health app, an innovation in healthcare technology you won't find anywhere else. Download right now or book an appointment while the test is still free at fixmylowt.com. fixmylowt.com.
Busy day? No problem. The WIBC Mashup podcast catches you up with standout moments from your favorite shows. Fresh episodes every weekday. One click, all the good stuff. Get your daily fix. Search WIBC Mashup wherever you get your podcasts.
He was a hard-headed man. He was brutally handsome.
Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. Braun is just inventing new agencies of government. And he's really just big timing his lieutenant governor, and the lieutenant governor doesn't seem to care at all. There's so much drama going on here. It's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. Jerry Lopez is in for Casey today. All right, so I saw this article. For a guy who claims to be all about limited government, Braun keeps seeming to make a whole bunch of new government, right? And here's the headline from the Indiana Capital Chronicle. Braun appoints state entrepreneurship director.
What is that?
Braun appoints state entrepreneurship director. Great question. Here's what Indiana Capital Chronicle says. An Indianapolis business owner will lead the state's new Office of Entrepreneurship and Innovation with the focus on supporting Hoosiers launching the next generation of Main Street businesses.
So LLCs and stuff, like under the Secretary of State's office?
I don't know. But here's my question. We have an entire government entity already, which is called the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs. OCRA is the acronym. Here's what OCRA says on its website, which is supposed to be overseen by the lieutenant governor. All right? OCRA works with state, local, and national partners to provide resources and technical assistance to aid communities in shaping and achieving their vision for community and economic development.
You know what this sounds like, Rob? It sounds like the conversation we had on Friday about townships versus counties. You just created a whole nother entity for something that somebody else already does.
This already exists.
Yeah.
And Braun's like, yeah, they're their child, to Micah. We're taking this from you. And now we have two people who, the description is almost identical. And yet, so the question becomes, what does the lieutenant governor's office even do now? Braun has made it very clear he's taken ag, and now it appears this guy is going to do what Okra did. So what does the lieutenant governor's office do? They have a budget of over $2 million. All of these people that they're paying, and for what? Like, why does he have a staff? Why does he have anything if Braun has taken all of these positions from him? And if Braun's going to do that, ag, okra, all these things, fine. Say why you're doing this. Because you think the lieutenant governor is an incompetent buffoon who can't run anything. Just say it. Just tell us why you're doing it. Just say it out loud. And why isn't the lieutenant governor pushing back on this?
That was my point. I would be highly offended if I was Micah. Why are you giving people my job?
But the answer to this is he doesn't want to govern. He's interested in the car and the check and the taxpayers funding his photo ops. The subways, the Pizza Kings, the jumping out of airplanes. You're paying for this as a taxpayer. What does the lieutenant governor's office do for the millions of dollars we give them? He has no responsibilities now. It's the Bob's in office space. What do you say you do here? Constitutionally, the position has to exist. He runs the Senate.
So we have to have one.
And he has to be there in case Braun kicks the bucket. Okay, fine. Let him wander the halls every day. But why are we paying for a whole office of people millions of dollars when the governor is taking all of this stuff and making new things? Either let this side do it or let that side do it. But because, and we're being honest, they know he's a complete buffoon who can't run anything. Braun has taken it all. I read you the descriptions. They are identical. This guy is doing exactly what the Okra mission statement is on their About on the state's website.
So they created this new thing. Who's going to have office staff and everything else, right? So it's just more of our taxpayer dollars going towards redundancy.
And this is where it comes back to the argument when these politicians try to tell you, oh, there was no money to help you with fill in the blank. We had to raise the gas tax again to fund the roads. We have to raise the tolls to fund the roads. We had to raise the taxes to fund the budget. They always tell you there's no money.
We're not going to have the power at school.
But we keep finding these redundancies in which these organizations appear to be doing the exact same thing. You put them on top of each other. You read the job descriptions. They appear to be doing the exact same thing. Why do we have two groups with offices and staffs and everything else if there's no money? If the state is completely broke, we saw things like the JAG program, Job for America's Graduates, which is helping kids that were at risk, not be wards of the state. No money for that. But then we have these organizations where it's the same thing right on top of itself.
Could it be that Braun picked this director and he didn't pick Micah?
Well, I think he looked at it and he said, we don't want Micah doing anything. And I think Micah is fine with not doing anything. I think Micah is fine with not governing. If you asked Micah, if you had Chris Hansen sit Micah down and say, have a seat, let's talk about what you do here. What do you run? What do you do each day? People would be outraged that millions of dollars is going to fund that. They don't do anything. Hey, congratulations. You're on what, day 6 now?
Day 6.
In your smoking...
I made it through the weekend.
Is it cessation? Is that the word?
If you want to.
Is that the correct terminology?
Yeah, we're on day 6.
Are you feeling any different?
I felt a little different this weekend. I did some swimming. I felt a little bit better. Food tastes different. I can taste a little bit of better now.
Better.
Yeah.
Are you any withdrawals? Any shakes? Any
I don't know.
Cravings?
I had a lot of drinks this weekend.
You did. You replaced it with alcohol.
Yeah.
So that was what I wondered. Like when you quit one vice, do you try to replace it with another?
I stayed busy this week, and that was a big part of it. As long as I was busy, I think I was good.
Like busy drinking?
Well, yeah, busy at the pool. Yeah.
Drinking at the pool. We've all seen the photos. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Reverend Charles Harrison, he's the leader of the 10-Point Coalition in the city, going to join us. Let's talk about the violence over the weekend. Let's talk about where the mayor's failing, what he would do to get violence under control. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. I'm here with Michaela to talk about water damage. Water damage at your home or business can come from heavy rains, broken or frozen pipes, and countless other ways. Michaela, if someone has a loss due to water, why should they call Michaelis?
Michaelis is a local, family-owned Indianapolis company with 39 years experience. We are manning the phones and ready to help 24/7, 365. Michaelis specializes in water damage restoration, is IICRC certified, and will restore your home or business to pre-loss condition or better.
I know a big part of getting back to normal is dealing with the insurance company. Can Michaelis help there?
Yes, Michaelis works through the entire process on your behalf to make it easy and give you peace of mind.
If you have water damage, call the Michaelis Corporation. Water, storms, fire, and mold, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIXED-INDY. That's 844-FIXED-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
If you're struggling with weight and frustrated with dieting each and every year, Mark Patrick Seminars can help.
After this hypnosis, I want to eat good food.
Since August, I can honestly say I have not had one potato chip.
It was life-changing for me.
And I don't think about desserts like I used to.
Bridget, how much have you lost now?
I lost a total of 83 pounds.
Holy cow.
It's easy, it's fun, very relaxing, and very successful.
And I would just say go for it.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick Seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Seminar Thursday, July 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, August 2nd, Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration 30 minutes before. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
It's Andy Moore's Summer Tent Sale in Avon. 4 days only, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Monday. You'll find more savings, more selection, more than 1,000 used cars priced to move, plus our lowest lease deals of the summer. Shop Andy Moore Avon Nissan, Kia, Toyota, and Volkswagen, all packed under one tent on Rockville Road, East US Highway 36. Get more for your money, only at Andy Moore Avon and online at andymore.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, what politicians and people in the community say needs to be done about the recent violence in Indianapolis. Plus, there's an update to Saturday's mass shooting case. There's also a case in Indiana where the FBI is getting involved. You'll hear why. Those stories and more after Fox News on 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis, and it's now 10 o'clock.
Not giving up. I'm Chris Foster. Fox News. Search and rescue operations continue in central Texas. 3 days since flash flooding that's killed at least 82 people, many of them children, and the co-owner of a summer camp.
There were several major camps near this area, including Camp Mystic, a Christian all-girls camp on the banks of the Guadalupe River, where dozens died. Camp officials say there were 750 campers there at the time, some as young as 7 years old. We now know a total of 27 have passed away. Photos inside the cabins just devastating, showing those bunk beds covered in mud. Among the victims confirmed 8-year-old Renee from Ingram, Texas. Her family says, quote, "We are thankful she was with her friends, having the time of her life. She'll forever be living her best life at Camp Mystic."
Fox's Brooke Taylor in Kerrville, Texas. There's more rain and a threat of more flooding in the forecast today. The Trump administration is letting countries know what taxes will be added to their imports as a deadline on reciprocal tariffs approaches.
President Trump is sending out letters today, letting trading partners know new tariff rates that will kick in on August 1st. Still, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says several trade agreements could still come together over the next few days. In April, the president announced a reciprocal tariff plan, but those were put on hold until July 9th. Separate tariffs on aluminum, steel, and auto imports are in effect. On social media, President Trump also threatened a tariff hike for countries in BRICS, a union of developing economies critical of the tariff increases. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
President Trump says Elon Musk is off the rails and a train wreck for the last 5 months after Musk announces plans to create a new political party called the America Party. Musk says backing a candidate for president is not out of the question, but the focus for the next 12 months, he says, is on the House and Senate. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Grief, anger, and a call for action. Skies are cloudy and it's 75 on Monument Circle and your radar is clear. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 10:02. The Marion County coroner has identified the 2 kids who were killed in Saturday's mass shooting in downtown Indianapolis as Azarian Cole and Xavion Jackson. Cole was 15 years old. Jackson was 16. State Representative Andrew Island Ireland tells Wish TV's Tim Spears over the weekend, don't blame the police.
IMPD is doing a great job, but the reality is there's no other leadership right now in the city-county building. There's no leadership, certainly in the prosecutor's office. On the other end of that, I mean, you can arrest somebody for, violating a curfew, but if you don't have a prosecutor that's willing to actually enforce that at the end of the day, it doesn't mean much.
He says they need to be enforcing laws that are already on the books. Johnette Cruz reports on people who are fed up with the violence.
Right now, every time that we step outside of our doors, that we have to have our heads on a swivel. We have to be so careful about protecting our own children.
That's State Senator Andrea Hunley, who shares the same sentiment that is felt around the city after another mass shooting took place over the weekend in downtown Indianapolis.
We shouldn't have to be afraid in our own city, but our kids also shouldn't have to be afraid every time they step outside either.
Hunley, along with other elected officials, faith leaders, and residents, gathered Sunday for a prayer walk. Reverend Monique Ellison from Christ Church Cathedral also called for increased community involvement and victim support. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And 5 people have been shot since that Saturday morning mass shooting. If you need to get gas today, Gas Buddy says the statewide average is now $3.10 a gallon. The FBI is now involved in the investigation that's looking into how 4 girls died in a house fire in Flora back in 2016. That fire was ruled arson, but no one's been arrested. The Delphi Police Department is adding its first female officer in almost 25 years. Her name is Bethany Johnson. She's 23 years old, and she's from Warsaw. In Indiana, only 11% of people who complete basic training are women. I'm John Herrick on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. It's 10:04. Kendall and Jerry coming back in 1 minute.
Pat Sullivan here for Gutter Helmet. Are you still putting screens on your gutters? If the holes are too big, debris gets in and you're still cleaning your gutters. If the holes are too small, it sits on top and now you're cleaning the screens. I have Gutter Helmet on my home and it has no holes, slots, or screens. It keeps the debris out and the water in. Since 1981, Gutter Helmet has been America's #1 choice for gutter protection. Right now, Gutter Helmet is offering a 17% discount plus 12 months no interest financing if paid in full within 12 months. Call 800-5HELMET, that's 800-5HELMET, to schedule a free estimate. 17% off, restrictions apply, and cannot be combined with other offers. Call Gutter Helmet today at 800-5HELMET, that's 800-5HELMET, or gutterhelmetindy.com, and never clean your gutters again.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Jerry, we started the show today, and we're spending a lot of the program talking about the inexcusable level of violence in the city of Indianapolis. It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Jerry Lopez at Indy Spanglish on Twitter, in for Casey. And as we talked about in the first hour, it's not just that it keeps happening, but there appears to be no solution on how to stop it.
It's scary for somebody like me who's come back from overseas, and you expect that to be something you hear about over in Iraq, to just wake up and it's like, wow, this is it's almost becoming an every weekend occurrence, and it's really scary when you have kids.
And the chief of police, Chris Bailey, basically admitted, we played that audio hour 1, that the police can't stop it and the government can't stop it. Not that they're really trying all that hard in many instances from our elected leadership, but it really rests inside the parents themselves. And when you've got teens that are shooting each other, teens that are murdering each other, you've got whatever it was, 15 people shot in a 27-hour period. This is about much bigger than just government policy, which plays a role in it. But one of the guys who's dedicated his life to trying to stop violence in the city of Indianapolis, leader of the 10-Point Coalition, Reverend Charles Harrison, joins us now. Reverend, hello.
Hello, how you guys doing?
Well, we're doing all right, and obviously, look, you've had more success than a vast majority of the people over the years at the areas the 10-Point Coalition has taken on in curbing violence in the city of Indianapolis. As you mentioned before we came on air, you were out of town, you come back, we're back to the same old song and dance, 15 people shot in a 27-hour period. It just seems like no matter what law enforcement tries to do, the violence keeps happening in the city of Indianapolis. Why do you think that is?
Well, because it's a much bigger problem than law enforcement. And when the city has been successful when you look at from 2000 to 2012, when the city averaged under 100 murders a year, and around 114 homicides a year, which including domestic homicides. There was a much broader strategy to addressing the problem of violence in the city that we have kind of gone away from. And unless you are involving all segments of the community in trying to address this problem, which is bigger than what law enforcement can handle, you're going to have the kind of violence that we have seen in this city really since 2013. Since 2013, we have seen a surge in violence in Indianapolis starting in 2015 that has been historic. And unless we get back to a much broader strategy that involves parents, and there has to be a heavy emphasis on addressing the issue of parenting in the city, and churches and community centers and neighborhood associations and other community stakeholders who are playing a very pivotal role in helping to curb what we're seeing today, then we're going to continue to have these kind of frustrating weekends in the city of Indianapolis where we see this high level of violence that's occurring that particularly is driving the violence from what we're seeing with juveniles and young adult males, really between that age of about 18 and 27 years old. Those are the individuals and juveniles that's driving the violence in the city.
Reverend Charles Harrison is our guest. He's leader of the 10-Point Coalition here in the city of Indianapolis. So talk about what you guys do in the areas that you patrol, because we've had you on many, many times over the years, and the success rate for the 10-Point Coalition versus other parts of the city. What do you do? Talk about the engagement specifically that you just referenced and how that helps lead to a level of violence much lower than other parts of the city.
Well, we use individuals who at one time were a part of the violence in the city. We call them OGs. We use OGs. We use pastors who are pastoring in these communities who tend to know who these kids are. We tend to know their families. And we focus on young people who are most likely going to be the suspects or the victims of violent crimes. They have a criminal history. They may be involved in a clique. They may be involved in a gang, and they're carrying guns. And we intentionally engage those individuals. We focus on intervention and de-escalation. We're trying to intervene in their lives, and we're trying to de-escalate any potential conflict that has occurred that may lead to individuals using violence as a means to settle their conflicts, or groups, which could be a neighborhood clique or a gang. And we're out on the street 7 days a week, and we're constantly engaging these young people. And the second part of what we're trying to do is put them on the pathway of success. How do we get them to put the drugs down, the knife down, the gun down, or whatever weapon they may use, and try to train them to get a job, or to get them skilled up so that they can work a job rather than being on the streets selling drugs or being involved in criminal activity. And that is a very difficult task to do, but it's one that has to be done if we're going to reduce the level of violence that we're seeing, particularly in large cities across the country.
You know, for those families that are listening, what kind of things are you seeing in common? Are you seeing single parent homes, no parent homes? Kids, I saw a story. One of the kids that lost his life had two brothers that had lost his life to gun violence. So what kind of things can parents do to just make sure that their kid doesn't become a kid that you have to speak to?
Well, try to get their kids involved in activities, whether it be sports, whether it be programs that are in the city that tries to focus on our most at-risk youth, and get them out of the environment that they're in, where most of them don't even see much hope for a better future for themselves. And you do see this generational violence that occurs where you may have multiple sons and daughters who may have been killed by violence in the same family. That happened in my family. I had a 21-year-old brother that was killed, and then his 23-year-old son died 23 years later from the same kind of violence that his father did. And we see this generational problem. And what we're trying to do, how do we break this generational curse or that some families seem to be under, where we have multiple family members being killed the same way. And that's tough. That's tough, particularly if you're not seeing much parenting taking place at home. When the mother or the father is more engaged in their own life than in trying to raise their children, where there are no boundaries in the lives of these children, there are no curfews. They let these children do whatever they want to do. And a lot of times it causes these children to end up in the judicial system, or they become a victim of the streets, and they are the next statistic that we're seeing on the news where they've been shot or killed.
Reverend Charles Harrison, our guest, he's the leader of the 10-Point Coalition in the city of Indianapolis. All right, so Jerry and I were talking about this before we came on air with you. Every 4 years, especially under the Hogsett administration, as the violence gets worse and worse, people say, Reverend Harrison, you got to run for mayor of the city of Indianapolis. If you were to run for mayor, I would assume violence and getting this under control would be the central part of your campaign. Just role play here for us, humorous for a second. What are some of the initial steps you would take to get this under control? How would you fix the problem?
Well, if I was to run for mayor, I personally certainly would take the handcuffs off law enforcement. I think we have to allow law enforcement to be law enforcement and to enforce the law in this city. And I think that's been one of the problems. We have not allowed IMPD and other law enforcement agencies to do their job. They have to be able to do that. I think number two, I would be more neighborhood driven as far as designing strategies to address the problem. You have to get these neighborhoods, churches, community centers, and grassroots organizations and anti-violence groups around the table, coming up with strategies like what was done, I think, very successfully from 2000 to 2012 in implementing strategies to both address the immediate violence and also address root causes to violence. Me being, Black, I certainly would have conversations within the Black community concerning the whole issue of parenting and addressing as to what the village can do to try to help parents who may be struggling to raise their children in a more effective way, and what role could the village play in helping them to do that.
You want to declare you're running right now?
No, I'm not going to declare that.
Thanks for all you do, Reverend, and appreciate you spending a few minutes with us talking about the success of the 10-Point Coalition and how that might apply to the rest of the city.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, it's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Another update is just minutes away.
President Trump is threatening an extra import tax.
Higher tariffs as early as August 1st.
I think we'll have most countries done by July 9th. Yeah.
Flash flooding in central Texas.
Frantic search.
Hear the news.
Driving in the wrong direction, killing at least one person, all eastbound lanes.
As events happen.
5 people shot.
We'll happen to be there.
14-year-old boy jumped off a boat, rescued to recovery, likely drowned.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Lynn just loves the summer in Indy, but she's not going to spend it painting. She called Rhino Shield.
It is a single-wide manufactured home. We moved from our home, which we had the Rhino Shield on. Rhino Shield was what we were going to do. That was no question. We knew we were going to do it.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating. It's not paint. It's better.
The Rhino Shield representative came, and we discussed what we wanted done. And this time, we had the roof done as well.
Now you can have the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price.
Even the people that have been a little younger than us have said they don't have to worry about getting just an everyday painter because Rhino Shield has the 25-year warranty, and we truly believe in this product.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
At Kingdom Roofing Systems, they do more than just roofing. They believe in honoring those who've served. Kingdom Roofing Systems proudly participates in the Roof Deployment Project, which provides a brand new roof to a deserving U.S. veteran or active duty service member, absolutely free. You can help give back to those who have given so much. If you or someone you know has served, owns their home, and is in need of a new roof, apply today at kingdomroofingsystems.com/RDP. Kingdom Roofing Systems, building roofs, honoring heroes.
Trust employee owned. B Windows extending our employee discount to you, up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to be.
Indiana summer storms are rolling in, and if you're like me, you're not climbing up on your roof to check for damage. That's why you call Moss Roofing. Family owned. Right here in central Indiana for over 30 years, Moss Roofing gives you something hard to find these days: honest work and peace of mind. They offer free inspections, and I mean a real thorough checkup of your roof, your siding, your gutters, and your windows. If there's storm damage, they'll show you the photos, explain everything clearly and thoroughly, and even work with your insurance company for you. No stress, no pressure, just real professionals doing the job right every single time. Protect your home and avoid bigger problems later. Call Moss Roofing today, 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 317-747-3665. Family owned, Moss Roofing, 747-3665, or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Sponsored by Armstrong Pharmaceuticals.
Great news, Jerry. Turns out there is no Epstein list. At all? No, doesn't exist.
Well, he's trafficking to nobody.
Breaking news. Axios has the story amongst many other publications. This is unbelievable that this is now where the Trump administration has settled on, and everyone should demand answers on this. President Trump's Justice Department and FBI have concluded they have no evidence that convicted sex offender and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed powerful figures, kept a client list, or was murdered, according to a new memo detailing the findings obtained by Axios.
So what have we been talking about for the past 2 years, 3 years? Let's Dan Bongino, Cash Patel, Trump, Pam Bondi, all of them have all referenced the client list. The list will be released. There was a binder given to influencers.
What was in the binder?
Who knows? But a bunch of influencers got a binder with a bunch of stuff in it. We were told Epstein had cameras in every room. Everybody was caught. Hundreds of thousands of hours of video.
Who was on the island?
Nobody. He trafficked to nobody.
Who was on the plane? We know the plane existed. It's got a name, the Lolita Express. Who was on the plane? Who were all these girls for? All just Epstein? Is that what we're led to? Why is Maxwell sitting in prison then?
Yeah, and if there was no list, then there are no clients, there are no Johns. So then it's just prostitution. It's not trafficking, correct?
Here, okay, you found this clip. This is Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. Yeah. This was shortly after she was installed as Attorney General,
correct,
right?
Correct.
And here is what she said about the, I guess, non-existent client list.
I saw your appearance at CPAC with Ben and with Ted Cruz, and one of the things that you alluded to, and this is something Donald Trump has talked about, the DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you.
So the list is on her desk, but now there's no list.
And the list, if you'd have thought, it would have said no list.
Right.
She could have then said, I mean, I get reviewing takes time, but you'd think if there was no list, you would just be able to say, hey, there is no list.
There's nothing to review. There is no list.
Trump ran on this.
Yeah. So did Kash Patel. Kash Patel was like day one. Dan Bongino, day one. And now it's just a big nothing burger.
So nobody really believes this, right?
You can't. And once again, trafficking has to be to somebody.
That's right.
So if there are no Johns, this is not trafficking.
Because that's what, and why did he kill himself?
Yeah. None of this makes, it makes even less sense now. Now it really smells like a cover-up at the highest level. And if Trump's involved in the cover-up, it makes me wonder what's on that list.
Well, right. And this is a horrible look because you guys ran on this. All of you said this thing existed.
Part of the reason he was elected.
Right. You all said you were going to release this thing. Nobody believes this guy wasn't trafficking no one.
Yeah.
Now, do I believe all the big names that are supposedly involved? No, of course not. I think this is actually going to have a pretty profound impact on Trump because this will be one of the first times I think his base will believe he's bullcrapping them.
I'm one of those. I'm one of those people. I'm a Trump guy. I don't like this whatsoever.
And the question is why?
What are you hiding? You're hiding something, obviously. There's been too much work. We've seen the list referenced 1,000 times. They had the Photoshop with the influencers once again where they had this binder that was given to them. What was in the binder?
Yeah, Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence for child sex trafficking.
To who?
Right, and they just rigged this all up themselves, these two people.
Just trafficking to Jeffrey. He's the only person?
And how did she do that, and how did he do that? And it was a two-person operation, and...
Yeah. Makes no sense, Rob.
I mean,
If there's no list, Maxwell needs to fight her case right now.
Right. You can't... It's the same argument, though, that I made about the Diddy stuff. Okay, if you believe these women, which they must have, that there was prostitution... And their testimony appears to be that they were in some sort of torturous, coerced situation. How could that not have been?
Yeah, but maybe the Johns are so big that if you release the names, it cripples everything. We're talking about the C. And now, where I come from, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. You're on the list. You need to burn like you're going to the stake. But what if they're just scared that the names are so high up there that we're all going to just revolt?
Yeah, this seems like the sort of thing. No, I don't know at this point anymore because we're such a team sport society. This seems like the sort of thing that you could see some people break away from MAGA loyalty over this because nobody believes that there weren't these people on these airplanes.
Yeah, even the jurors who convicted her of child trafficking believe somebody was on the airplane.
This is just... And like you said, it's not just Trump. It's these Johnny Tough guys, Patel, Bongino, Bondi. What was in the binders? And I thought there was more to come. I thought we were told that we were going to get, that was the premise of the binder. Has anybody actually seen a binder, by the way?
No.
Has anybody?
Nobody's posted one.
That these influencers held up? I mean, I'm not trying to ask that to be facetious. Like, I'm genuinely clear. Has anybody?
Nobody's posted the contents of the binder at all. No, I went looking. Like, you couldn't find. Everybody had a picture of the binder, but nobody had a picture of the binder open.
So what was in the binder?
Invitations to Mar-a-Lago. I mean, there weren't names.
I mean, seriously, you got to ask that question, don't you? I would trust you because you're super
I've
into
looked,
this.
Yeah. I've looked. There's nothing. There's no... the only name that has come from this at all is Prince Andrew.
So it was just him?
He's got a hell of an appetite. I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is... It makes...
But he didn't go to prison either.
No. This makes no sense. And back to what we were talking about earlier, if Elon's coming up with this America party, it's just one more reason why people would go that way.
And Musk claimed Trump was in the files.
Now there are no files, Rob.
Okay. Hey, had a fun little back and forth with a former elected official over the weekend. Shall we? Is it interesting enough for us to talk about? I'll let you. You're the voice of reason. You have to be in the Casey spot. I have fun with this, but I don't know. Was this interesting enough to our audience that we should do a segment on it when we come back?
I think it's just more evidence as to what you say all the time. When you ask people to come talk, they turn it down.
Yeah, the guy totally chickened out. That's kind of entertaining when I crap all over people in power. So is that should we do a segment on it when we come back?
Let's go for it.
All right. Well, I had a fun back and forth with a former elected official who totally was Billy Badass until I told him put up or shut up, and then he wilted away. We'll talk about it next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Premier Deck Coating, the ultimate deck protection. Who are they? Well, they're a sister company of Rhino Shield, and Premier Deck Coating is the product you need if you're tired of applying the same old stain and paint every couple of years to your deck. It's Terry, Stacy, and David and I have a deck that's probably 25 years old. The countless hours and the money that we spend on maintaining that deck never ends. And then we heard about Premier Deck Coating. Family owned, based right here in Indy, and they are going to completely transform our deck with their special formulated product, which repels moisture, scratch resistant in virtually any color that we want, and backed by a 10-year guarantee. No more spending time staining or painting every year. Premier Deck Coating will keep our deck looking great for years to come. Premier Deck Coating can also do fences and pergolas too. For a free quote, call 317-696-4071 or visit premierdeckcoating.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church. You know, if you're looking for a new church home or even a first church home, check out the place we call home, Life Church. You know, we attend the Eagle Creek campus, but they've got 4 campuses all across central Indiana. Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton. So anywhere you're located at, there's a Life Church location near you. They're warm, they're welcoming. They would love the opportunity to show you what they're all about, to meet and welcome you and your family. You got nothing to lose, you got everything to gain, and you can check it out for yourself if you want to see what it's all about before ever leaving the comfort of your own living room, with online services that are awesome as well. Learn more about it all on the web, lifechurchin.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A topic generating quite the discussion. You've got a cloudy sky at the moment, no rain, 75 degrees in the Circle City. The high today, 82. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Shootings that happened in Indianapolis from Saturday through this morning have people on edge, especially if you're this man who's already gone through something that he wishes he hadn't, and he spoke about it to WIBC's Ryan Hedrick moments ago.
So you were attacked downtown recently, right?
Correct.
What happened?
It was just a random assailant hit me in the side of the head while leaving work and going to where I parked my car.
But he says he wouldn't mind paying a few extra bucks to make sure the cops and political leaders have what they need to deal with violent crime. The National Weather Service says more than 100 billion gallons of water have poured down in Kerrville, Texas, which caused all the massive flooding. That tops the everyday flow over Niagara Falls. The flood resulted in at least 81 deaths over several counties. More than 800 people have been rescued, but dozens more are still missing. And today is National Rock and Roll Day. A single definitive list of the best rock songs of all time is almost impossible to come up with, but a few that make just about every list include Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin, I Love Rock and Roll, which you just heard by Joan Jett, and the Blackhearts. Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit also in the mix there. Today also happens to be National Dive Bar Day. I'm John Herrick. This report, by the way, brought to you by Moss Roofing. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. 1031. Kendall and Jerry coming back in a moment.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
You'll be one smart cookie when you try Bluebell Cookie Cake Ice Cream. A sweet cream ice cream loaded with chocolate chip cookie cake pieces and swirls of chocolate and vanilla icing. This cookie cake ice cream really takes the cake.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
I don't know why people get so mad at me for telling you how other people vote. Like, I don't have a vote. I don't do the voting. And yet there's so many high-profile people who are just outraged when I tell you how your elected officials are voting. Does that make sense?
It does, 100%. I see it a lot now. Now that we're in the same algorithm together, I get to see these conversations you have.
It's the Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Jerry Lopez is in for Casey. This happens so good. You see this.
I see this. I've seen this a lot now.
It happens all the time with me.
Pretty recent.
Where these appointed or elected people become outraged at our radio show. And then they go on Facebook and start bitching about me.
Without saying you.
And then when it gets brought to my attention, because I engage, brother.
Oh, yeah.
This is the wrong guy to try to...
Public service announcement, leave Rob out of it.
Try to big time
help
or bully
me help you.
or whatever, right? I will go find them and say, hey, tough guy, rather than whining on the internet, you know where to I'm the easiest to find every Monday through Friday, 9 to noon.
Pull up.
40 Monument Circle, right? We will roll out the red carpet for you. And almost without exception, there are a couple times where people have manned up and come in here and done the thing, but almost without exception, they will not do it. And this played out again. And I started, and I feel bad for you, but I had to tag you in all of my correspondence.
Well, I volunteered to be the moderator.
That's right.
Somebody... How did it start? Say how it started, because it didn't start by bashing you. It was a complaint about you.
Well, that is bashing me.
Well, yeah.
It was pretty mean. Okay, so I said last Friday, the obvious, or not Friday, I'm sorry, Thursday. We were off Friday.
Yep.
I said Thursday, the obvious, which is the big bullcrap bill continues to force taxpayers to fund child sex changes. That was the quote.
Correct.
It's in the bill. It was the policy. There was a movement in the House to make it not the policy. The parliamentarian threw out the policy, and instead of fighting for the changes like they did where they moved heaven and earth to make sure that the SNAP and the other giveaways to Alaska could take place when the parliamentarian threw it out, they just said, oh, well, we tried, and then they just went home. So my point was the Senate voted to continue to allow public money to pay for child sex changes.
That's a fact.
It's a fact. It's not in dispute.
You don't have to like it. It's a fact.
I didn't make it up. I didn't vote for it. And then we also said the thing about illegal immigrants getting publicly funded health care.
Played a clip by Chip Roy. It's fact.
Right. Okay. And by the way, there is a group, an LGBTQ group, if you'd like to see this for yourself, it's called the Movement Advancement Project. You can go to see this yourself. LGBTmap.org is the website if you want to see this for yourself. Ain't a place I spend a lot of time on. This is the group that's for this stuff, right? And they lay out on their map, and they're pissed off it's not more, by the way, okay? But they lay out on the map. I counted 26 states that they say state Medicaid policy explicitly covers transgender-related health care.
So this is them saying we're good in these spots.
And then they note the states that the child portion of that is banned. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4 of these states. So 23-ish states on this pro-LGBTQ whatever website are saying child sex changes are covered under Medicaid. I found multiple other websites that back this up. Again, didn't make it up, just pointing out the obvious, right? And as happens time and time and time again, people become outraged at me, and they go to the internet and start screaming at me for telling people what's been voted on and what's in a bill.
This one was better, though. This one was screaming at you because they couldn't tell you.
So, Jerry Torr, who was a state rep, he is not a state rep anymore. He represents the Carmel area, and he was there since the earth was young. Went to, now, the way my Facebook is set up, because it's not a public page, right? My Facebook is set up to where...
We got to be friends before I can tag you or whatever.
Right, to comment on my thing, because that's the way Facebook is supposed to be. It's for your friends, right? Now, I've set it up because...
I live in the Wild West, baby. I'm wide open.
Right? So, it's a personal page. It's not a, not a public figure page.
You're not a politician, yeah.
I do have my Facebook set up to where everybody can see my stuff. If you follow me, you can like or make the face or whatever.
Can't tag you. Because then, you know how many times you'd get tagged?
Right. Yeah. Like, I have Twitter for all of that stuff. Yeah. And unless you just get highly egregious or obnoxiously obsessive on Twitter, I pretty much just let it go over there. But Jerry Torr, I don't know what. Jerry Torr's got to be in his mid-60s, right? A grown-ass man who was a state rep since Methuselah was around goes to his Facebook page and starts screaming that he can't comment on my Facebook page. This is where we're at. This guy was in charge of society. He ran humanity, and he threw a fit over the fact that he couldn't comment on my Facebook page so he could fight with me about whether child sex changes were voted on or allowed in the big bullcrap bill.
I don't even know what to say, man. It's crazy to think two grown men are arguing online.
But I wasn't arguing. It wasn't two grown men. It was one grown man. It was one grown man. I'll just read part of this, shall we? Apparently the loud, angry man on the radio. You're right. He didn't even say my name. The loud, angry man on the radio is afraid to have me comment on his post. As though I sit around and go, I take crap from thousands of people every day, Jerry. Yeah. That's my literal world.
You take crap from both sides.
I am the guy who storms the hill and just says, keep shooting. There's not even a body left to shoot through. I've been hit by mortars, bazookas, high-powered rifles, machine guns, Uzis, and just say, keep shooting, world.
You're the great unifier of hate towards Rob Kendall.
But I, in my mind, said, oh, noes. Jerry Torr might smoke me on my page. Have me comment on his post. It appears I am blocked from commenting and calling out his BS.
And then I get tagged. Look at the first tag. Look at the first tag under it. It's me. That's all it says. Tag Jerry Lopez.
This happens to Casey all the time, and it happens to you.
Now, it happens to me a lot.
You get, like, people are always like...
I get texts from politicians about you.
You tell Rob.
Yeah.
And don't you tell them, no, you tell Rob.
But they won't.
You walk in here from 9 to noon. He'll give you as much time as you want. And you tell Rob, this is such a ridiculous allegation from him. And it shows that he either doesn't understand the legislative process or he is intentionally being disingenuous. Now, this guy was in charge of Medicaid in this state for years, right? And we all know what a complete dumpster fire Medicaid turned into. Flat broke. They were throwing people off left and right because guys like this were calling the shots. And yet he clearly doesn't know because all we said was child sex changes are being funded by the government. And the big, beautiful bill, they voted to allow that to continue. That's all we said. It's clearly referenced, cited. Will go state by state. And he threw a fit because either he didn't know what the obvious was, or he's mad that we relayed the obvious. Somebody brought, I think it was you.
I got tagged. I thought I was to pass it on to you.
He brought this to my attention. And so I said, well, shoot. Don't threaten me with a good time. I said, hey, internet tough guy. First of all, it's laughably pathetic that a grown man, I don't know what he is, he's probably going to be 60-something, is whining on Facebook that you can't comment on another man's post.
Mean, angry guy, mean radio guy. Yeah.
You're mad? By the way, I thought nobody listened.
They all listen, Rob.
I thought nobody listened. But you're having an aneurysm, a conniption fit, that you can't comment on my Facebook post. This is a guy guy who made, no wonder our taxes have never been higher. No wonder the state's a giant dumpster fire. No wonder they had to raise taxes by $1 billion to pay the tab. Because guys like this were calling the show. People like Jerry Torr were in charge for decades. I said, look, tough guy, ain't no need to do it on Facebook where 9 people are going to see it. Why don't you waltz your ass in here? Sit down. I'll give you an hour if you want. I'll give you 2 hours. I'll give you the whole damn show, and you can tell me why I'm wrong. And then I got a bunch of things I want to discuss with you about how the state's been run.
And then what was his response to that?
Well, initially he bowed up on it,
He
right?
said, you know what? Not a problem if Jerry Lopez can moderate.
Yeah.
Somehow I got drug into this again.
And then I said...
You said deal.
Deal. And then from there...
Then the wheels fell off. Yeah, I'm busy.
That guy might have injured somebody dangerously backing that truck up into a high-traffic district.
And hey, listen, for people listening, I just start getting tagged in every single post after that. It was just, Rob's like, not a problem, at Jerry Lopez will be there. Not a problem, at Jerry Lopez. Go ahead and show up, at Jerry. My phone just kept going, bing, bing.
Now, I told you, I was texting with you, I said, because I want to have a witness to this conversation, because you'll have to, because he was like, I'll do it if Jerry...
I said deal. I said deal. Let's get it on the books.
Yeah. Well, what moderate? What is this? I thought we were 2 grown-ass men.
Yeah.
We don't need a moderator. And then he was like, well, you were so disrespectful to Micah. Which, by the way, Micah and Diego don't allow comments on their Facebook page, and they're public officials.
That's a fact.
You have an aneurysm over the radio guy who doesn't have a public page. Not a public official. And by the people I'm friends with, they can all comment. Can you comment?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't make the rules on Facebook.
Yep.
I don't set that up. Zuckerberg sets that up. So then he totally wimped out. And then he spent like days.
It was like a couple days. You would text me like, we're back.
Still fighting with me on this.
We're back, baby. I'd go to it like, holy cow, we're still going.
So let the record show that Jerry Torr is a gutless coward who is Billy Badass behind the safety of his computer screen or cellular telephone screen. And when he had the opportunity to waltz his ass in here and say all this stuff right in my face so that thousands of people could hear what a scourge I am on society, what a plague I am on humanity, he didn't want any part of that smoke.
So if you don't like Rob, be mad at Jerry Torr for not coming here and blasting Rob.
Pathetic, miserable, gutless coward who is one of the many reasons our state is in the crapper position it is today. How about that, Jerry Torr? Hammer's next, 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel's show back at it this afternoon, 3:06. Biggest stories in Indy. Do I still have all 10 fingers? 93 WIBC.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey folks, Scott Wilson here from Wilson Farm Market, just 20 minutes north of Carmel. We're proud to bring you the freshest produce farmed right here in Indiana and across the Midwest. And don't miss our home-style fried chicken, scratch-made bakery, and a deli packed with ready-to-go favorites. Got a sweet tooth? Check out a variety of old-fashioned candies, the kind that brings back sweet memories from your childhood. At Wilson Farm Market, we're all about local freshness, friendly faces, and food that feels like home. Wilson Farm Market. That's Wilson Farm Market.
Wild weather going on right now. We saw it last night. And some days it's super hot, and some days the rain is coming down. Regardless of what's going on, you want to stay safe and secure in your house, and you want to feel cool and comfortable in your own house. And that's where new windows come in from Universal Windows Direct. If you've been thinking about upgrading the windows in your home, now is the perfect time to strike, because Universal Windows Direct is letting you choose your great offer. That's right. You have the power. You make the choice. Payments as low as $99 a month, or 12 months with no payments and no interest. Seriously, upgrade your home now and relax until next year. Let me repeat that again. I did not, sir. I know you're thinking like there must be something I misheard there. You did not. You choose payments as low as $99 a month or 12 months with no payments and no interest from Universal Windows Direct. Now, some restrictions may apply. So to get all the details and most importantly, schedule your totally free, no hassle, no hassle in-home estimate. They'll tell you everything up front about what it's going to cost. Call Universal Windows Direct today, 317-659-7574. That's Universal Windows Direct, 317-659-7574. Or check them out on the web, universalwindowsdirect.com. universalwindowsdirect.com, 317-659-7574. Tell them Rob sent you.
You know, sometimes dealing with home service contractors can be frustrating, whether it's missed appointments, sloppy workmanship, or just a general sense of indifference about helping you. Frustrating hardly describes that experience, Hammer.
And that's why we want to welcome a new advertiser to the Hammer and Nigel family, somebody you're going to be hearing quite a bit about in the coming months, Victor's Home Solutions.
Victor's installs the highest quality roofs available for your home, and they take all those negative stereotypes and turn them on their head.
They start with the basics, prompt, follow-up, showing up to appointments on time. And then they go above and beyond with installation teams that are so skilled, so precise, that Victor's is able to offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install.
5-star customer service and perfect installation. You're going to be really impressed with Victor's. They're the only roofer Hammer and I recommend to our listeners. It all starts with a free 21-point roof inspection. Call 1-866-VICTORS or victors.com.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live online or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Check out what's going on with 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel are rolling into Andy Moore Kia this Friday, 11 to 1. Swing by for a great time, cool prizes, and some of the hottest summer deals around. Don't miss your chance to save big and hang out with the crew.
How good is Vegas? I mean, we were talking about Jason Hammer is here from the Hammer and Nigel show. Hello.
Good to be here, gentlemen. And there's a reason those hotels look so immaculate on that Las Vegas Strip. They're not built on winners.
They got something right over the weekend, and you and I have talked about this many, many times on our Degenerates Next Door Sports Betting podcast about how amazing it is. Now, they'll get some that are way off, right? Things happen, anomalies, whatever. But by and large, how close they get to what actually happens one way or another. And I get it with points with basketball and football and all that stuff. But they got the hot dog eating contest right to the hot dog.
Correct. So I bet on the hot dog eating contest, not on who would win. We all knew who was going to win. That wasn't even worth betting. Like, you would have had better odds if Alabama's football team played against a JV team from a local high school.
Do you know how much he won by?
Like how many 20-plus dogs.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close.
He could have stopped like 4 minutes with 4 minutes to go and still won at like 6 or 7 hot dogs a minute.
You got to wonder, some year, is he going to do that? Is he just going to walk off the stage to prove a point with 2 minutes to go? Yeah, thank you. Good night. So Joey Chestnut wins the hot dog eating contest.
Friend of the show.
Yes. Hoosier.
Yes.
Very, very.
He is now.
That's right. And you had said, I'm going to bet on the hot dog eating contest.
And I found the number on FanDuel, which was the lowest number I could find, at 70.5.
You wanted to bet the over.
I did. I felt like I'd be a bad American, Jerry, if I bet the under on Joey Jaws on the 4th of July in his comeback at the hot dog eating contest.
Been very un-American.
And you and I have had this conversation numerous times. I hate betting unders because you're cheering against offense. You're cheering against points. You're cheering against, in this case, the guy eating the hot dogs. You want to see a freak show. You don't want to spend it's going to ruin the experience. Even if you win money, you feel like you've lost because you're miserable the whole time.
Right. I didn't want to root against him. This was his comeback tour, right? Because he didn't do it a year ago. There was that sponsor dispute. But the over-under on hot dogs eaten, that's what I bet on. And it was at 70.5. That was the number that I found at FanDuel.
Well, the half a hot dog is to make sure there's winners and losers.
You would think.
Yeah.
Yes. Which brings us to the final total. Joey Chestnut ate 70.5 hot dogs.
How?
That's amazing.
How did they get half a hot dog?
So, like, he shoved a whole dog in his mouth at the end, like as the buzzer went off, but I don't think he was able to finish it, so he had to spit a little bit of it back out, and they counted that as half of a dog.
So 71 was in.
Right.
Down to 70.5 because he spit out half.
But had he spit the whole thing out, like the judges would have made that down to 70, I would have lost. Right? This is how good Las Vegas is. They nailed the hot dog eating contest to the exact number with the hook.
The part that I don't like is they can get the point right in every sport in every country around the world.
Yes.
How?
And it's all math nerds, too. Like, people think, well, it's a bunch of football guys putting the lines together that watch all the games. No, they use, like, algorithms for it. Points scored, points to get. I mean, it's all math nerds. People that don't even necessarily like sports. And they also use, like,
the
for
weather.
the hot dog eating contest, what you've done in the past compared to the weather conditions. I mean, it's just one big algorithm, and they nail it.
The man ate 7 hot dogs a minute.
He was on a pace early on. He was doing like 10 a minute.
Wow.
Yeah, my old man, we were doing a bunch of stuff on the floor, and then I just had forgotten that it was on. My old man texted me. He's like, he's at 45, and he's halfway there.
Yeah.
Like halfway through. And I said, that's a pace of 90.
Yes.
I thought he was going to like do it like some secretariat type thing.
It kind of wore down a little bit at the end. But no, man, that's how good Las Vegas is. Now, speaking of gambling in Vegas, this is another story going viral. And we're going to have to talk about this at length on Thursday, Rob, when we do the podcast. The days of Vegas giving out the comps have kind of come to an end.
Oh, really?
Even if you're a high roller. There's a viral video going on of a dude playing $25,000 hands of blackjack at one of the hotels on the Vegas Strip. I think it's Resorts World, one of the newer ones. They didn't want to comp him his drinks.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
We don't do free drinks anymore. Like, I'm betting $25,000 hands of blackjack. You can bring me a smoothie and a screwdriver. It's okay.
Did you see the story about, was it the Cleveland pitcher who's under investigation now for irregular betting? They said that in one game specifically, there was a weird number of bets that came in that the first pitch of the third inning would be a ball.
Yes.
And he one-hopped it.
And he threw it into the dirt.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, you look at the NBA guy, the big free agent guy with
Malik
the Pistons.
Beasley.
Yeah. Like the highlights of him
They say
out
he
there
owes
now.
his barber like $200,000.
I mean, it looks like there's video of him, like, if you're playing video games and you don't know how to use the controller, and he just sits there and has people drive around him.
So you do have to wonder, and obviously these guys' brains aren't wired properly. You have multi-million-dollar contracts, and you're doing the one thing you can't do in your sport, right? Like, I mean, what is wrong with you? How are you not processing things properly?
Well, these guys are dumb. Yeah. Some of these guys are dumb. They've had hanger-ons since they've been kids because they've been good at ball or they've been really big. I mean, look at from a local level. How many standout athletes from places like Ben Davis, these amazing athletes, go on other places like colleges, and they don't make it. They can't make the grades. They get kicked off for being knuckleheads because nobody ever teaches these kids discipline. It's always the group of hanger-ons, and it's not just the school. It's the family, too, family and friends. But some of these people aren't smart enough to handle the money.
What's coming up this afternoon on your award-winning program?
So much like you guys, we're diving into the wild west of a weekend that it was here in Indianapolis, the crime situation. Chief of Police Chris Bailey will join us. We'll have Guy Relford on. And, we're going to get into this stuff.
3 to 7 this afternoon. Number 1, Hammer and Nigel. Jerry's in for Casey. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Seminars Thursday, July 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, August 2nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Testanor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text SAVVY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text SAVVY to 42424. That's SAVVY to 42424.
I had changed the locks, didn't even know where she was living. And then one night she calls to say she's getting treatment. Can I drive? I almost hung up. But then I thought, that's my kid. I chose to put away the hurt and the fear and just see my girl.
Addiction is a disease. Standing by a loved one as they fight it will test your faith, patience, and sanity. But it's possible when you see the person, not just their disease. Learn more at cbeyondtheaddiction.org.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Make summer nights unforgettable with Indy Decorative Concrete. Get 50% off a stunning fire pit with their best stamped concrete patio package. Offer ends September 1st. IndyDecorativeConcrete.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, Hoosiers reacting to the weekend violence in Indianapolis and what they would like to see done about it. A man didn't use fireworks properly this weekend in Monroe County. You'll hear what police say happened to him. And the Indiana Fever say they have a new sponsor. You'll hear who that is and more. Those stories and a lot more coming up after Fox News on 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis, it's 11 o'clock.
More rain in the forecast. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News, and there's a risk of more flash flooding today in central Texas, 3 days after flooding that's killed dozens of people.
Search teams are still hoping to find people who survived the raging Guadalupe River in Kerr County, Texas, outside San Antonio. Dozens remain unaccounted for, though at least 82 people are now confirmed dead, including 27 kids and counselors from Camp Mystic, a well-known Christian girls' sleepaway camp located along the river. More than 850 people have been rescued so far, including some who climbed trees to stay above the rising river. The National Weather Service says more than a foot of rain fell in an area that usually sees only about 30 inches of rain a year, causing the Guadalupe River to swell more than 26 feet in less than an hour. Eben Brown, Fox News.
And a White House spokesperson calls suggestions that National Weather Service funding cuts contributed to this tragedy shameful and disgusting. A man with a rifle opened fire on Border Patrol agents at a facility in McAllen, Texas this morning, lying in wait for an ambush, Fox is told, hitting the facility but no agents before being shot and killed by agents and local police. In about an hour, President Trump says letters start going out to trading partners announcing tariff rates, with plans for them now to go into effect on August 1st. President Trump meets with Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu at the White House today to talk about ending the war with Hamas in Gaza.
Talks resumed in Qatar yesterday, but there are still divisions over who would govern post-war Gaza. Israel staunchly opposes Hamas holding any role, but also reportedly opposes the involvement of the Palestinian Authority, preferring instead for Arab countries to control Gaza and provide security alongside unaffiliated Palestinian leaders.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. Russia's former transport minister is reported to have killed himself hours after being fired by President Putin. Hundreds of flights in Russia were grounded over the weekend due to the risk of drone attacks from Ukraine. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How do they feel about it? It's cloudy and 74 degrees in the Circle City with highs today in the low 80s across the state. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 11:02. 5 people were shot between late Sunday night and into this morning across Indianapolis, and there was also the mass shooting in downtown Indy Saturday morning. Here's what these Hoosiers think about all the violence recently.
I think that for the most part, when you have a metropolis, that you will have, any type of violence.
I think that more parents need to really watch where their children are and what their children are doing.
Even though I'm, middle class, lower middle class, I'm perfectly okay with paying a little bit higher taxes to gain access to safety and health care and everything like that.
The 2 teenagers who died in Saturday's mass shooting were identified this morning as Azarian Cole and Xavion Jackson. Cole was 15 years old. Jackson was 16. Christchurch Cathedral prayed on Sunday and gathered a lot of people to do so. Johnette Cruz reports.
In downtown Indianapolis, faith leaders, elected officials, and residents united Sunday for a prayer walk. Their message, a collective response to a recent mass shooting and the escalating gun violence gripping our city.
We should not be in a place where another children have senselessly been killed on our streets.
State Senator Andrea Hunley emphasized the critical need for both spiritual reflection and concrete action. In response to Saturday's shooting, IMPD will enforce stricter downtown curfews for teenagers. The department also announced new downtown camera installations and assistance from Indiana State Police. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Gas prices have gone down lately, with Gas Buddy saying the statewide average is $3.10 a gallon. That's down 13 cents from this time last week. A fatal incident involving fireworks in Monroe County Saturday night. Police say Tyler Pinkley was trying to light a mortar while holding it right above his head. His friends told him not to do it, but Pinkley said it was okay and that he had done this before. It exploded, and deputies say Pinkley died at the scene. The Indiana Fever announcing this morning that one of the world's leading online betting companies, Bet365, will be their sportsbook partner for this season. Bet365 says they are stepping into the game with a lineup of fan-focused features that will be integrated across the Fever's media and game day experience. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Kendall and Jerry coming back in 1 minute.
It's Hammer and Nigel for Window Nation. You've been trying to stay cool during the dog days of summer, but if your windows are old and drafty, that might be hard to do. If the summer heat is seeping into your home and your utility bills keep rising, your windows could be the culprit. Save yourself from another month of discomfort by replacing your windows today with Window Nation. Right now, you can get 50% off all windows, plus 0 interest for 5 whole years. You heard that right. When you choose Window Nation to replace your windows, you won't pay any interest until 2030. Details at windownation.com.
And did I mention they'll get the job done in 1 day or less? Their installation crews have over a decade of experience, so you can feel comfortable knowing your windows are installed right the first time. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to procrastinate another day if I found a window company this good. Do not miss out on Window Nation's biggest deal of the year. 50% off all window styles right now. And remember, that comes with 0 interest until 2030. 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
All right, we got to talk about these floods in Texas. And there's the event itself, and then there's the ridiculous reaction to what's going on that's not helping anyone or anything. It's Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Jerry Lopez is in for Casey today. And look, this is a massive story in which 82 people at least are dead. Many others are missing in Central Texas, I guess would be lack of a better term. I mean, I give you the cities, but it's not going to mean anything to the average person. And it's finally starting to get a lot of national attention. I mean, this is, look, I've owned a business that went through multiple hurricanes, and I've seen the damage a hurricane can do, and this flash flooding in Texas is, every bit as bad or worse than the damage that has been done during hurricanes. I mean, it's just absolutely horrific. But what's fascinating about this, and the left is doing it again, they do it every time. Instead of just focusing on here's what's happened, here's the facts on the ground, here's why this happened, here's what we got to do to help these people, which should be the first thing. The left crazy people are focused on trying to politicize the thing, and they're saying a bunch of things that are utterly ridiculous, and people just recoil against it, Jerry.
Well, it's just heartbreaking. When you get something like this, I think we all need to put politics aside and think about the humanity, right? Not only the loss of life, but the destruction of property and everything else. You have a kids' camp that was basically swept away and 20 girls die, and people want to blame Trump for policy and different things. And it's like, now is not the time to talk about that. Now it's the time to pray to God or whoever you believe in and put your arms around these families and support people, because people sent their kids to camp in the summer and those kids are gone.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, they're trying to label it like because forecasters were dismissed. There was not a lack of a forecasting. It wasn't a lack of not knowing. They knew this was a possibility that could happen. For some reason, they decided to still set that camp up there. And tragically, that this has happened, including many children who have apparently been swept away. I mean, it is a horrific sight, but the left goes to these bizarre rants, climate change, Trump fired forecasters. Here's Rosie O'Donnell trying to blame the deaths in Texas on the big, beautiful bill. Look, most of our audience knows by now, I'm by no means a fan of the big, beautiful bill, but it is completely ridiculous what she's saying, and it makes her and all these people on the left look like just nutso people.
And what a horror story in Texas. The flash floods in Texas, the Guadalupe River, 51 missing, 51 dead, more missing. Children at a camp. And you know, when the president guts all of the early warning systems and the weathering forecast abilities of the government, these are the results that we're going to start to see on a daily basis, because he's put this country in so much danger by his horrible, horrible decisions and this ridiculously immoral bill that he just signed into law. As Republicans cheered, people will die as a result, and they've started already. Shame on him. Shame on every GOP sycophant who's listening and following the disastrous decisions of this mentally incapacitated POTUS. Hard to believe.
Okay, so first of all, who was like, hey, there's some serious flooding in Texas. Let's see what noted survivalist / weather aficionado Rosie O'Donnell has to say. Second of all, that's just, I don't even know where to begin. There was not a lack of forecasting. There was not a lack of preparation. There was none of that is why this is happening. And the big bill stuff hasn't even been enacted yet. Doesn't have anything to do with any of this. She sounds like a complete crazy person.
Let me give you an example of two things both these things went viral. So this first one, this is Dr. Christina Probst. She's from Bluefish Pediatrics. She was fired this morning. She posted on her Facebook, "May all visitors, children, non-MAGA voters, and pets be safe and dry. Kerr County MAGA voted to gut FEMA. They deny climate change. May they get what they voted for. Bless their hearts." She was let go. Here's another one. This lady is a Houston Food Insecurity Board member. She was also fired. She said, "Camp Mystic's a white-only Christian girls' camp. No token Asian, no token black. If you ain't white, you ain't right. If this was a group of Hispanic girls, it wouldn't even be the news. White parents would be screaming for deportation. They carved out a whites-only enclave for their kids. They want you to get up and look for these girls while your own family's being deported and locked in concentration camps." And that was a Food Insecurity Board member. So two people lost her. What kind of horrible, horrible, horrible people are we sharing this earth with?
But it happens every time. It happens every time there's some sort of these natural disasters. It's the same playbook. Here's this Raul Castro. He's a Democrat representative, U.S. rep, and he's trying to blame it on climate change.
No, I think climate change is obviously a part of it. These floods are happening more often in more parts of the country and really all over the world. And so we have to face that reality and be better prepared for it and combat it.
I hate his name. I have to go on the record and say that.
You and I were having this conversation.
Yeah, when I look up Raul Castro, it comes up with the communist president Raul Castro from Cuba. So that's the worst name you could pick.
And your family's from Cuba.
Yeah.
So Kevin and I were asking you, like, it seems like an odd thing to name your kid. Like, if you know your last name is Castro, you kind of stuck with that one. That's a tough one.
So there's certain names. You can't be Fidel. You can't be Raul.
Like, right, that you would name your kid that. I mean, like, if you somehow got stuck with your kid with the last name Stalin, would you name him Yosef?
Can't go Yosef.
Yeah, I mean, would you, if your kid was last name Mussolini, would you give him the name, Benito? I don't know. I just think I'd go with the different
If you're
name.
Mengele, you can't go to med school.
But it's just, they completely alienate any reasonable person. This has always been a threat that this could happen. There was not a lack of forecasting. For some reason, they decided to build this camp in this area, and tragically, I mean, just the worst thing imaginable is happening, and the focus should be on how do we try to help the people that can still be saved? How do we comfort the people that are losing loved ones? How do we help these people try to put some semblance of their life back together?
There's still people missing. Like, now's not the time to be talking about any of this stuff. It's the time to come together and go help find kids.
Yeah, I mean, it happens every single time. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, there's a big issue here in central Indiana that is garnering a lot of attention. We've addressed it a couple times here on the program, but it is these communities that are capping the amount of properties that can be rented. We've seen Fishers take action. We've seen Carmel take action. I think there's some legal action taking place now as a part of that. I wanted to get perspective from somebody who lives in this world on the impact, the ramifications. This is a positive thing. Our old pal Ethan Hatcher, who does the Saturday night on the Circle show, his day job is he is a landlord. He's got about 40 units that he rents out here in Indianapolis, and I want to get his perspective on the impact of having these rental caps, what it might mean for communities. We'll talk about that next with Ethan, 93 WIBC.
Another update is just minutes away.
President Trump is threatening an extra import tax.
Higher tariffs as early as August 1st.
I think we'll have most countries done by July 9th. Yeah.
Flash flooding in central Texas.
Frantic search.
Hear the news.
Driving in the wrong direction, killing at least one person, all eastbound lanes.
As events happen.
5 people shot.
We'll happen to be there.
14-year-old boy jumped off a boat. Rescued to recovery, likely drowned.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
You'll be one smart cookie when you try Bluebell Cookie Cake Ice Cream. A sweet cream ice cream loaded with chocolate chip cookie cake pieces and swirls of chocolate and vanilla icing. This cookie cake ice cream really takes the cake.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at Needler's Fresh Markets and Walgreens.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today.
Today.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling. B-O-O-H-E-R. BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with a free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. B-O-O-H-E-R. BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken.
Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Trust employee owned. B Windows extending our employee discount to you. Up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to B.
It's Andy Moore's Summer Tent Sale in Avon. 4 days only, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Monday. You'll find more savings, more selection, more than 1,000 used cars priced to move, plus our lowest lease deals of the summer. Shop Andy Moore, Avon, Nissan, Kia, Toyota, and Volkswagen, all packed under one tent on Rockville Road, East US Highway 36. Get more for your money, only at Andy Moore Avon and online at andymore.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Stay on your home court with Franciscan Health's top-rated cardiac heart care. No traveling, no waiting. Just award-winning heart care right where you live. Rated #1 in Indiana 2 years in a row for cardiology and cardiac care by health grades, Franciscan Health offers first-in-the-world treatments, cutting-edge technology, and unmatched compassion because we believe every heartbeat is extraordinary. Don't sit on the sidelines with heart trouble. Schedule a same-day cardiology appointment today at franciscanhealth.org/heartcare.
Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Jim's Heating and Air Conditioning. Owner Jim Scott says only the best will do when it's your reputation on the line.
We want to install something that's high quality so we can move on to the next job. The way we install it is high quality and the equipment that we use is high quality. So when I shop for something to sell, American Standard was there. It was just the highest quality there is.
In Boone and Hamilton County, call 765-601-1461 for Jim's Heating and Air Conditioning, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
In dreams, wherever they may lead, come on, follow that dream, find the love you need.
Jerry, there's something that's going on throughout central Indiana communities, and it fascinates me.
I've heard a little bit about this, and it's actually happening in my home county.
That's right. So this is a story that kind of started in the spring, and it was communities beginning to put caps on the amount of rental properties they're allowing in the cities. So Fishers went first, Carmel followed after, which is where you're at, and now cities and towns across central Indiana are exploring doing this. And one of the rare times where I don't have a firm opinion. You own a home, you rent a home.
I'm renting.
No, okay, so you're one of the problem.
So I am the problem. In the words of Morgan Wallen, I am the problem.
Okay, so here's where I'm at with this, because I've been a home renter, also a home owner, and on my street where I live, I can tell you which homes are rented and which ones are single
I can
occupied.
probably drive by your neighborhood and tell which ones are rented,
Right.
which is the problem, right? Like, I rent, but I am a military service vet, so it's like I have certain standards of upkeep and things like that.
Sure.
But when the people move next door, it's a rental, and you're going, oh, no, they don't take care of their property. They're not cutting their grass. They're not.
So I balance that with the right of somebody to do with their property whatever they want. And so I think several of these cases are heading to court or will be heading to court. And so I thought, let's get some perspective on this. And we've actually got a guy for everything.
Got
a guy who he's a part of WIBC, but he makes his living renting homes. Ethan Hatcher.
Heyo.
Host of Saturday Night on the Circle. Ethan Hatcher, hello.
Happy to be here once again, Rob. Thanks for having me.
So you and I were shooting the breeze over the weekend, and I was asking you about your opinion on this because you keep your properties. How many properties do you own?
I have 19 houses that are divided into just under 40 units.
So you're a mogul.
A small mogul, yes.
and they're primarily in the city of Indianapolis.
East side of Indianapolis.
Okay, and you, unlike some of these other rental moguls, you keep your properties very well maintained.
I do my best. We have been undergoing a series of improvements since I took ownership.
So I said you'd be the perfect guy to have this conversation with because you're in the rental business. Let's start with, do the cities of Fishers and Carmel have any sort of case saying that we got to limit the amount of rentals because those people oftentimes aren't keeping their properties up and our citizens are mad because they think it's devaluing their properties? They have a case on that.
It is born of a rational fear, but an excess of rental properties, which currently the cities of Fishers and Carmels do not have, is a symptom, not the cause of a larger problem. It is a symptom of when home ownership has become far too unaffordable in your community. There will always be rental properties. There will always be a market for them, for mobile tenants, for people who aren't necessarily tied to a city, whose jobs take them from place to place. For people like that and other individuals, rentals will always have a spot. But when you make home ownership so unaffordable and so difficult, especially for senior citizens to pass on their wealth to children, that's when you start seeing these problems.
Am I out of pocket here for like going under the assumption that maybe you just don't want people that can qualify for home ownership in your neighborhood? Is that a crazy thought that you just want people who can only survive on renting?
I think it has to do with the tax burden. I think it has to do with retention, because once you have entered into a neighborhood, presumably you have the finances to make that continue to be possible. But when the tax burden goes up over time, then you're taking the elderly people out of their homes and preventing generational wealth from accumulating. It's when it's those lifetime homeowners, people who pass down from grandparents to children their homes, that starts to build the community that I think Fishers and Carmel are trying to keep by putting this ordinance in. I disagree with the ordinance.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say was this must be born out of something,
Sure.
right? And it's like I said, I'm not wed one way or another on this. I can see both sides of it. I do see my own street. When I was a boy, and look, I don't live on a home with $1 million houses, but it was when I was a kid. These houses were all built in the early 1980s. They're all brick houses. They're all, for the most part, ranch or Cape Cod style homes. And every house was different. Every house was unique, and they were owned by families. They were very well maintained. It was a nice street to live on. And I look at it now, and there are pockets of people, myself included, who still take pride in keeping their home looking nice. But I look at the rest of it and go, ooh, yeah, that's not good for, it's not good for the aesthetics of the neighborhood. It's not good for the safety of the neighborhood. And then I try to balance it out with the freedom and liberty side of myself and property rights, which is if you own the property, you should be able to sell to who you want to sell to.
When you
rent who you want to rent to.
When you have rental property, there are corrective means that you can pursue to punish landlords who are not taking care of their property.
Tell me what those are, because I don't think your home looking like crap. It's a pretty high standard, right, to have an ordinance violate. That's the problem. Like, it's
here's the issue, Rob.
Bad can look bad and still be legal.
Exactly.
Who you're dealing with primarily is like the Board of Health. I just got a lovely write-up from the Board of Health because one of my tenants was not mowing their grass properly. That's a relatively minor inconvenience. All I have to do is provide them a notice, cut the grass, de-weed around the property, and they'll be fine. But it can escalate from there. There can be more complex problems. But that has to be remedied after the fact. And there's the issue. If you want to, on the forward end, take care of this problem, the two issues at hand are permanence and pride. If people don't believe to a reasonable expectation that they're going to continue living in their property for a long period of time, why would you ever do landscaping? Why would you ever do manicuring? Why would you ever do any of the nice little things on the exterior of the property that long-term property owners do? And then the other thing is community pride. Community pride has utterly evaporated, and that's a cultural question. People, instead of taking pride in their communities, often feel ashamed of their communities. Look at how many posts, I'm sure Jerry saw lots of them, on 4th of July where people say, I don't feel proud to be an American today. That bleeds into how your outlook bleeds into how you take care and how you approach all aspects of your life. If you don't take pride in the community, then why would you ever maintain it?
Ethan Hatcher is our guest. He's the host of Saturday Night on the Circle. He's also a real estate mogul, and we're talking about these ordinances that are popping up across central Indiana. I think some of them are headed to court or in court about Fishers, Carmel, etc.
Are these homeowners that are suing?
Well, no, I think it's these organizations. Like, you're probably part of some Renters United,
the Indiana Property Rights Alliance.
Thank you.
IPRA.
Some property empire or something. I don't know. I don't know if they actually are headed to court yet, or they're just threatening or whatever. But I mean, it's clear it's going to start. It's going to start happening more and more. Is my issue that I want people to love my street as much as I do, and I want people to love the community as much as I do, and you can't legislate that? Is that ultimately what I'm upset about?
Yes, it's a cultural problem because that's what fixes the issue on the front end. Everything else is a corrective measure after the fact. And so what you have to do is inspire pride first.
Well, you're invested. You signed your mortgage. You're like, we're here for 15, we're here for 30, and I'm there for a 1-year rental. So what, like, you hope that you have that pride and you take care of stuff?
Yeah, you say that, Jerry, but it's like, okay, so I've rented multiple houses over the years. I've never actually lived in an apartment. How about that? I've never actually lived in an apartment. Every place I've rented has either been a duplex or a house. And what I found was I rented a house before the house I live in now that had a local landlord. He literally lived around the corner from me. And the difference in his willingness to maintain the property versus when I have lived in a house that was owned by a corporation, night and day. Yes, not even close.
When you're talking about like particularly derelict serial offenders in the state of Indiana, a lot of those are coming from out-of-state investors because it's so difficult to serve the notice. You have to serve notice in order to correct the problems. And these people intentionally create a Byzantine layer of corporate shells to distance themselves from responsibility. So another way that you can kind of prevent that problem is by promoting local ownership. Again, it's by tying people to their communities.
Yeah.
I'm going to care much more about my properties on the east side because I live there and I want my community to improve versus an out-of-state Chinese investor who's looking to get rich off the Indiana market.
Here's what I want. I want the grass to be cut. I want the people that have the Ardennes forest in their backyard to like cut the stuff down. I want the weeds maintained, and if you got like broken fences, I want that like I'm talking like chunks missing.
Yeah. Don't throw trash in the yard. If there's trash in your yard, pick it up.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I don't think that's too much to ask.
No, put your trash cans in within 3 days of the trash guy.
Yeah, we accomplished nothing here, but I felt like this was a good radio segment.
I'd be starting in your case with a Board of Health complaint, Rob. That sounds like a good place to begin.
Yeah, the government doesn't want to hear from me. They know exactly.
But once again, here's the government telling you what you can do with the house that you own.
Yeah. All right, Ethan Hatcher, you're the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go. Grief, anger, and a call for action. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 11:30. The Marion County coroner has identified 2 kids who were killed in Saturday's mass shooting in downtown Indianapolis as Azarian Cole and Xavion Jackson. Cole was 15 years old. Jackson was 16. State Representative Andrew Ireland tells Wish TV's Tim Spears, don't blame the police.
IMPD is doing a great job, but the reality is there's no other leadership right now in the city-county building. There's no leadership, certainly in the prosecutor's office. But on the other end of that, I mean, you could arrest somebody for, violating a curfew, but if you don't have a prosecutor that's willing to actually enforce that at the end of the day, it doesn't mean much.
Which is why he says they don't need to pass new laws. They need to be enforcing laws that are already on the books. And businesses, along with sports franchises and more, are all donating to help people who are dealing with all the flooding in Texas. On the Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds, and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day and nothing worked until Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food, crazy, enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick Hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again, my blood pressure went down, and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Early bird special only $49.99. Seminars Thursday, July 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, August 2nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
I'm a proud owner of B Window.
I'm a proud B Window owner.
I'm a proud B Window owner.
When you work with a local, employee-owned home improvement company like B Window, quality comes first because your home improvements are a reflection of our business. And for a limited time, we're extending our employee discount to you, up to 55% off all products and services, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust local, trust employee-owned, trust your home to be.
Trust me. Join Mark Patrick Seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick. Destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars July 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, August 2nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
You go to the movies, Jerry?
I go every now and then. If it's a big one, Mission Impossible, I went and saw.
So that was the last time you were at a movie theater?
A month ago.
Oh, Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
I was thinking of Top Gun. So this was recent.
Yeah.
Okay. So how often would you say you're once a year, twice a year?
Maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah. Do you, it's the Kendall and Casey Show, by the way. I'm Rob. Kev's here. Casey's out today. Jerry Lopez in for Casey. Okay, so when you go, is it, do you go by yourself? Do you go because you got kids?
I have friends, Rob. I go with my kids. I go with whoever.
With people, right? Okay. There's a new, let's see, I have been to one movie in the past 10 years. That was the Elvis movie. Which was, we laid out, the Elvis movie was bad because they just made up a bunch of stuff that didn't happen. And Elvis's life is interesting enough that you don't have to make up things that didn't happen. Could have just stayed with the things that actually happened. And I'm watching this movie, and as a music aficionado, I went with my friend Shane, who's a Elvis super fan, and we're like, I looked at him, he goes, no, that didn't happen. It's like, that didn't happen.
That sucks.
What am I watching here? Like, I'm just watching a made-up thing about Elvis. Anyway, it just seems like a lot of work to go to the movies.
It's not that bad, but the difference is it gets pricey because, I want to have fun. So usually I go to, one of those places you can eat, like Flick's Brew House. You have dinner and watch a movie or whatever.
Oh, okay. So in this show,
I don't know the last time I paid $10 and just sat in a theater.
So, okay, I was going to say, so I do not go to the theater. So there are now movie theaters in which that's what they specialize. It's like a dinner theater type experience.
Correct.
Where the food is a big part of it. It's not just popcorn and
they
a
have
hot dog.
A brewery inside of there. And
That sounds like it could get very pricey.
It does. Yeah, you're talking about going to see a movie plus a ticket. You're talking about $70, $80.
Huh?
Yeah. The food's not cheap. Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, so the traditional movie, though, what is it? Is it $10 to go see a movie now?
$10, $12.
Okay, you probably don't go in the middle of the day like I would to save a few dollars. All right, so there's a new article out. The Sun has this article about how theaters are getting desperate for revenue. And now, like at AMC, which is one of the mega ones that's still left, people could be, for the select presentations, the big movies, be forced to endure 25 to 30 minutes worth of ads before you get to your movie.
People are just going to show up 20 minutes late.
Yeah, that's a good point. Although, isn't that part of, I always, as a kid, found that as part of the experience. Like the trailers were
Yeah, but it's not trailers. It's talking about get your Pfizer shot or what. I don't want to see all that.
Well, that's a good question, right? Because
if they're movies, I'm good with it.
I'm trying to think. Like as a kid, it was cool because usually the ads had some sort of celebrity you didn't get to see a whole lot. Like, I'm Jerry Seinfeld. I'm just making things up.
Right.
I'm Ben Stiller for blah, blah, blah. But now I don't really care about celebrities anymore. So one, I'm a grown-ass man. I'm an adult. But two, I see celebrities so much because of Twitter and all this other stuff that it's not a big deal. Yeah, you're right. If it's just
like ads like Hulu commercials, no, I don't care.
Yeah.
But now, why don't they start showing pay-per-view events at the movie theater?
It's a great
Or
question.
sporting events.
Well, originally, I'm sure you know this, but originally pay-per-view was what was called closed-circuit television, where the precursor to pay-per-view was an event, like the one that stands out is the original WrestleMania in 1985. There was no pay-per-view per se, so you could go buy a ticket to the theater, and on the big screen, you could watch the event, and they sold out theaters all over the country to go watch this thing on closed-circuit television. You're right. You do wonder if there's still a market for something like that where it costs you $10 to go in versus paying, I don't even know what pay-per-view costs now, $50, $60.
Oh, no,
whatever.
probably $75, $80 easily.
Really?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Kidding.
Yeah,
Huh.
but you know what? Now that I verbalized that, they'd be hard pressed because most of those events happen on Saturday night, and that's a big movie night
Is
of
it
the week.
still? Do people still actively go? Kev, when's the last time you went to a movie?
I actually went a couple months ago.
What did you see?
I saw the movie Warfare.
What day of the week?
I think it was like a Wednesday.
Okay.
Did you go by yourself?
I did actually go by myself after work one day because they were showing it at a limited amount of theaters at limited times.
I used to love to go to the movies by myself.
You seem the type, Rob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That does not surprise me.
I mean, it's just you don't have anybody to talk to, nobody to distract you. You can go when you want. You can leave when you want. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Yeah,
When I was a kid, we used to movie hop.
Well, I often pondered this. This is a thing that I pondered in my 20s. Like, if I'm going to go on a date with somebody to a movie, what's the point of that? You can't talk to
You're
them.
not going to talk at all yet, but you can eat together and pay like $80 not talking to eat.
Exactly, right? Yeah. I mean, I never really totally understood that. Okay, so
You're going to become a movie guy when your daughter gets older.
No, because I have all of these streaming things that I don't watch now.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, and Disney will have everything.
I think about this all the time. I was actually thinking about this last night. One of the things that I hate about the modern viewing of television, I don't have cable. I have the antenna, so I can get the local channels for the sports and weather and all those sort of things. But there's too many choices. Like, I can never stand one thing. I'm always thinking there's something better out there. When I was a kid, here's the channels we had on cable. Whatever it was, 60 channels, right? You only probably watched 25 to 30 of them because a bunch of them were QVC or whatever, right?
Right.
So you had to make it work. You had these channels. Choose one of them. With the streaming, you got all of these different networks and et cetera. And you're always thinking there's something better out there that I'm missing. And then I always just end up watching either 48 Hours or Dateline or the Hanson reruns.
Yep. So I think that if we could keep track of like time wasted, I'd probably spend more time shuffling through Netflix than actually watching anything.
Yes, 100%. And I yearn for the days, and maybe someday I will just cut the whole thing.
You spend more now anyway on streaming services, it seems like.
Yeah.
It's every bit as much as what cable costs, and this was supposed to be a cheaper alternative.
Yeah, you're right, because there's too many things on too many different channels, and you're absolutely right. it's a nightmare. I miss when I had just a few options and I had a remote control and you flip. There's what's on. Pick one, go, boom. Also, it used to be, remember when we were kids, like if there was a rerun of your favorite cartoon on, you better put your VHS in and tape that. It was cool to see because you wouldn't see it again for a while. Well, your favorite episode of your favorite TV show, a rerun on of, Alf or Growing Pains or whatever, right? You were like, oh, cool, that's awesome. Now it's like no big deal. You can find it whenever you want. There's nothing special about things that used to feel special because you have access to them at your fingertips at any given time.
Yeah, I tried to put on Married with Children this week, and it couldn't make it through an episode. It was hard.
You didn't like it?
I was just, it wasn't what I thought it was.
Did you watch it in real time?
Yeah, I loved it.
This is another interesting thing. Rewatching things that you have not watched since you were younger.
They just don't hold up anymore.
Do they live up to the standard you have set in your mind for that thing?
The only thing that I can watch repeatedly is the Beverly Hills Cop series. I can watch those. Those hold up for me.
Because like with the Married with Children, I don't even know, does it count as episodic television? Because, I mean, they were episodes, but they weren't connected. Like, there was not a theme. It's not like 24 or, one of those shows where from one week to the next it builds upon each other. That's the other problem I have. With the shows now, I go back and the technology is so outdated. Like these cop shows, 24, et cetera, the cell phones and stuff they're using. I was like, well, that's totally outdated.
Also, when I watch stuff now and it has one season, I don't want to invest because then it's just over and I got to wait again. And it's like, if there's not more than 4 or 5 seasons, I'm not watching.
That's a great point. There was a fabulous show. It aired, I think it was 2012, 2013. It was on Showtime. It was called Boss. Kelsey Grammer was the mayor of the city of Chicago. It was phenomenal. It was only on for 2 seasons. I have no idea why they canceled it. It was great. He played the mayor of Chicago. It was based, sort of loosely on like Richard Daley, the boss character. And it was great. But you're right. I know when I go back and watch it now, it's only 2 seasons and they ended it without an end, right? They thought they were clearly thought they were coming back. And so the show just ends and it's like, well, what am I investing all this time in?
Yeah, what's the point? Yeah, I'll have to find something new to watch here tomorrow.
I had a horrific experience last night, Jerry.
I can't wait to hear about it.
Something no man should ever have to go through.
Another man yelled at them on Facebook or something else?
No, I mean, this was like, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
Can't wait to get
into it.
I want
to fill you in about it when we come back. See if you've ever had something like this happen to you.
Let's
how
see.
You got through it. Jerry's in for Casey, Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the latest on those devastating floods in Texas, and President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu are set to meet. After the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Mike loves summer in Indy, but he hates to paint. So he called Rhino Shield.
Our home is basically a contemporary, and we just started noticing that the paint was just fading and just looked like garbage. We had received a postcard from Rhino Shield, and we decided to take a look at it.
Rhino Shield's formulated for our specific climate here in Indiana.
The process with Rhino Shield and their crew, they were just very conscientious. We had problems in the past with painters. They leave debris and everything. Well, we didn't have that with Rhino Shield.
Way better than paint, backed by a 25-year warranty. And right now, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price.
The thing about Rhino Shield, the heat gain has been reduced reduced, and we save $70 a month. You don't hear that about any type of paint.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Going to the BMV or renewing your driver's license online? Your license could turn you into a lifesaver when you answer yes to this important question.
Would you like to sign up to be an organ donor?
That's because one organ and tissue donor can save 8 lives and heal countless more. Your yes at the BMV is a possible life-saving gift. A message from Indiana Donor Network and Donate Life Indiana.
July is here, so you know what that means. The golf outing powered by Franciscan Health is almost teeing off. Join us Thursday, August 7th at the Legends Golf Club in Franklin. Grab your crew for a day full of big swings and good times. Sign up now at 1075thefan.com.
That's a night that the lights went out in Georgia. That's a night that they hung an innocent man.
Jerry, I went through something last night, and I want the public to feel my pain.
What happened so bad that you want to talk about this?
Well, I really want to just put in perspective how ridiculous we've gotten as a society with all the modern comforts and how spoiled we actually are.
First world problems.
Yeah. So the power went out last night.
That's terrifying.
Now,
when it first blinks and you're just going, how long?
Yeah. It did the flash, and then everything came back on. It was like, cool. And then probably 5 seconds later, out again. And then you get the text from the provider with the estimated time it'll be back on. It went out probably like, I don't know, maybe a little before 8.
Okay.
And it ended up being out about 2 hours and 30 minutes.
It could have been a worse time. Imagine that going out at 1 p.m. or something in the middle of the day when it's 97 outside.
You're right. And the rain did cool things off a little bit, and it was nighttime. And I think I looked at the outside, the weather app or whatever, and it was like 75 degrees outside.
Right.
Which, that's fine, doable, whatever. And it's fascinating because, like, my 2-year-old has never been awake or at least remembers being awake for the power going out. So this is an all new thing for her, right? Like, she's trying to figure out, and then she gets all discombobulated. And
were you guys prepared? You have candles and flashlights and all that stuff?
I did have my flashlight ready to go. Now, one thing I did screw up was I did not have my phone properly charged.
Oh,
so
that's
I
a big one.
had to get creative on how to get the cellular telephone.
That's a big one. Everything needs to be plugged in these days. Everything we use needs electricity. The days of having AAAs and the alarm clock, those days are over.
Well, what's wild is, and this is the mistake I made, because my grass was getting dry. So that would be nice if we get a little rain here in this weather coming in. And then, of course, it can't just rain. It's got to do some sort of high wind, whatever. But I did get the rain that I needed for my yard.
So I know you're old man.
Well,
right? I got the rain I needed for my grass.
So I'm sitting there for like 2.5 hours, basically, largely in the dark, right? You got your cellular telephone.
Yeah. You can't pick it up because it's dying. You don't know
I got it. My wife was fully charged, so she had hers. But then I'm like, "Can you pull up the YouTube on your phone?"
It's killing my battery, honey. We're not going to watch any more.
And I'm sitting there.
What'd you do with the babies? You just watch videos on your wife's phone?
Well, I'm pretty good. Now, I will give myself. I describe myself as this: I'm a mediocre husband, but an A+ father.
Okay, yeah,
like I'm a really good dad. And my wife knew this when she married me, that was the way it was going to be. And so I'm really good. Most of the time I get my daughter to go to sleep. So I'm pretty good in all circumstances at getting her.
So just go to your dad and you're good.
Good. Yeah. So it took me a little extended time. She was trying to figure out what was going on.
Sure.
But after a while, it's night, right?
Yeah.
So you lose track of things. So I got her to bed. But then I'm just like sitting there in the dark, and I'm like, how did people do this in the olden days? Like, there was a time where that was life for people.
Yeah.
In the pre-electricity days, it's dark. The world basically ends, right?
I mean, you can move to some places like Cuba where they turn off your electricity for no reason.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so I just was sitting there chuckling to myself like I'm this poor lost guy struggling with the flashlight, wondering what to do.
Did you post it? Because that would have been even funnier. To post it on Twitter and complain about it.
Couldn't use the battery.
That's true.
Couldn't use the...
So are you guys a fan house, like sleep with the ceiling fan and all that stuff? Because I can't fall asleep without the fan on and the power being out. would ruin my ability to go to bed.
No.
I'm a fan on every time, even if it's freezing.
And I don't require a lot of sleep. Part of this is because I owned my own business for years where there was no rules around that. Like, I'd stay up till 3. I'd wake up at noon, SpaghettiOs for breakfast.
Right.
So I've never required a lot of sleep. So a lot of times I won't go to bed till midnight or after. It's no big deal for me to go to bed at 1 and then get up at 5 and roll, right?
Come in here and start yelling.
Well, people are amazed, and you will back me up on this. I'm very calm and normal in my personal existence, and people will ask that, and it's because I get it all out here. 3 hours a day. I got nothing left to... When they do my blood pressure at the physical every year, they're like, this is amazing. And it's like, I just don't... I don't have the energy to be mad in my personal life.
3 hours of cardio and heavy breathing every day.
It's like I don't have any energy to be angry anymore. But so just sitting there in the dark thinking like, how pathetic is this? That like I need now my cellular telephone and my...
Back in the day, you were a warrior.
And
you
my...
have a lineage of warriors who lined up across from each other with bayonets, charging. And you're like, the power's out, honey. What do we do now?
Do you have a smart television?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It kind of sucks when the power goes out. You realize how dependent we are. And the first thing every kid goes is, can I use your charger? My tablet's dying. It's like, no, we're screwed. and then you run into things like the garage door doesn't go up.
Yeah.
Or...
Well, the other thing that was freaking me out was the alarm system. You know, it goes onto a battery, right?
Right.
So it shuts down. That's the first time since we've had the alarm system that the power's gone out. And that thing, like, you know, after a while, it's still working.
Right.
But because it's working on a battery, it, like, knows.
Now, is it connected to the Wi-Fi, which is now down because electricity?
Yeah, but it's also connected to cell towers. And also, like, there's a backup to a backup to a backup. But, like, I've never dealt with it before. And I don't even know how most of it works anyway. I know how to set the thing and unset the thing. My wife is the one that deals with all that. She's like, it's fine. But it's off. It's fine. Like, okay, lady.
She's a cybersecurity specialist.
Well,
so.
she knows all the stuff. I don't have any idea how anything works. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting. I was sitting there last night going, how pathetic is this? Like,
and that was only 2 hours.
It was like 2 hours. So they gave me the time. And I told my wife, I said, they said it's going to be on at 9:45. She's like, okay, well, that's not too bad. I was like, it's not going to be back on at 9:45. Right. And then at 9:45, I see a message. I said, oh, it's not going to be good. And then they said 11:45. And of course, now she's upset.
Right.
And I said, I told you I'm going to be 9:45. And it's not like I can run anywhere.
Right.
You know, I got to deal with her being pissed off now.
Right.
But good news was like 10:20 or something, it came back on. So it's like, oh, there. See, you know.
And it just bing.
Bing, it did.
Yeah,
it all pops on.
Everything comes on.
Blinking and flashing. And
you spent the next 5 minutes resetting the microwave time, the time on the oven.
I didn't do that because I was then trying to get caught up on the things I wasn't able to do while the power was out. What
did the baby wake up? Did the baby wake up
Nope.
because all the lights came on?
She sleeps through everything. She slept through all the fireworks on 4th of July.
Oh, nice.
She's a gem. How long do you usually take to reset your appliances when the power goes?
Immediately.
Oh, you do it right away?
I do it immediately.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm that guy, like the clock has to match, or the oven has to match the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, immediately.
Right away, huh?
Yeah. I mean, you're probably the guy that drives around with daylight savings, and you're just like, it's an hour behind now. like for 4 months, you have the right time in your car. The other time, you're either an hour behind or an hour ahead.
100%, dude. I'm just too lazy.
I get in people's cars and change their time if it's like that.
I have a horrible thing, and I know people will see this like when they're around me, and they'll get offended. But like, I'm horrible at putting people's names in my phone, not because I don't like you.
Sure.
It's just too much effort.
So I'm the opposite. Everybody gets a nickname, and then I forget what I put you in under. So this is not. I have people in my phone right now, and I don't know who it is. I have something in my phone as Dan Marino. And I will tell you this much: I went to a party. He was wearing a Dan Marino jersey. We got along great. I got his number. He's Dan Marino, and I don't know who I'm asking for when I call. That's a true story, dude.
Oh, that's freaking awesome. I love that so much. And with that, we'll call it a day. Jerry, awesome job the last 2 days.
I
Thanks,
appreciate
man.
it. Hey, I'll be back on Thursday with Casey. Can't wait.
For me.
Yep.
I will be gone Thursday. Yes, that's right. All right. It's Kendall Casey Show. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the best part of the program. Without you, there is no us. Great job to Kevin as well. Tony Katz coming up next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours.
It actually works?
I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text Rocky to 369-369. That's ROCKY to 369-369. Rocky to 369-369.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, this is Denny Smith for LD Smith Plumbing. Joining me now is really the head of the whole company. Lance thinks he's the boss, but it's really not. It's Jennifer. You're the proud mother of LD Smith Plumbing, whether you want the job or not. How much fun is it to see those 5-star reviews?
It is the best. We love to review those with the guys. To see their smiling faces and know that we have done such a good job in the field is just priceless. My goal is always to make their day a little bit easier. For any plumbing issue, it's ldsmithplumbing.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
History returns with the Brickyard 400 at the famed 2.5-mile oval, celebrating NASCAR's roots at the racing capital of the world. Brickyard weekend starts Thursday, July 24th with the Indiana Sprint Week race, with sprint cars running on the IMS dirt track for the first time ever. Saturday, July 26th, get ready for action with the NASCAR Xfinity Series Pennzoil 250. Then Sunday, July 27th, the NASCAR Cup Series Brickyard 400, presented by PPG, returns to the oval of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Buy now and save at ims.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Fill your tank. Don't drain your wallet. Sam's Club lets you save time at the pump with Scan and Go checkout at Sam's Club fuel stations. Just scan the QR code on the pump and pay. Visit your local Sam's Club today.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Trust employee owned. B Windows extending our employee discount to you, up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to B.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up.
I think the reality is, again, that we have a variety of laws on the books.
Where their children are and what their children are doing.
Right now, every time that we step outside of our doors, that we have to have our heads on a swivel.
Somebody made a mistake due to inability to make a conscious decision.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
3 kids and another charged as an adult. You've got a cloudy sky. Some light rain is possible today. 75 degrees on Monument Circle. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. Among other charges, Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears saying moments ago that those 4 people are now charged for illegally possessing guns in Saturday's mass